Hi, boys and girls, lads and lasses, and welcome back to Let's Talk Geeky. First one of the new year. Happy New Year, one and all. Hey.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
So, with the break, what have you been up to? Nothing? Okay.
We had
Moving on.
our Monday.
That was a short stream. Yeah, just like back to work, watching some movies, basically exhausting the entire selection on Amazon Prime, which I'm not going to lie, needs a little bit of improvement. We seem to get all the dregs from anything on IMDb with like 3 stars or lower.
3
ends up on
stars,
Amazon
yeah.
Prime. Yeah, you notice that? Yeah.
I know.
I do own IMDb.
Yeah. Well, they're basically rating the bargain basement on IMDb ratings and putting it on Prime for free. Look at what we gave you.
I don't know if you've got this in the UK, but here in the States, there's a free tier of Prime called Freevee.
Yes.
Okay. It used to be IMDb TV.
Yes, we've got the freebie.
Okay.
And that's got ads on it, which is fine. You can watch quite a bit of stuff on there. I do occasionally find a nice little gem in the 3-star range. They're out there. They're watchable.
Every
But
now and then, you're right.
it's a bit of a lottery.
Everybody else hates, but you love.
Yeah, it's a bit of a lottery. It's like, okay.
It depends
I
who's
like
applying the
watching a lot
stars
of
as well.
true crime stuff on it, so she's been enjoying that.
Well, 5 stars is in the eye of the beholder.
This is true.
It's
This is true.
You know,
But
like
then
the Eye of the Beholder now. Dungeons and Dragons and Wizards of the Coast may sue us.
Yeah,
They're
that's
going
right.
with all
No,
the-
not yet. The
Not yet, but
OGL
they
hasn't
may.
yet.
Because they've got the Beholder trademarked
Oh dear.
as a monster. So
Don't tell him.
Really?
yeah, it's
mean,
basically I've been
big
watching
friggin' eye,
a
right?
lot of the Dungeons and Dragons stuff.
Yeah, it's quite.
Scary.
I made the mistake of actually asking Tabletop if he'd seen it, and he didn't want to start. We ended up talking about that. I was only asked because I thought of him when I saw the first things about it.
Yeah, well, I
already getting
basically
weird.
I heard about it and I thought,
Yeah,
well, Dungeons and Dragons is out, so don't need to bother
You
about it
reckon?
anymore. But they also own Magic the Gathering, so
well, the thing is, it's definitely some echo from somewhere there. Hasbro are the problem. What's he own Dungeons and Dragons? The problem is Hasbro owns.
you're echoing.
Yeah, I know.
A little bit.
Whoops. Sorry.
Yeah, so were you earlier on. You were
Ah.
earlier on, Pete.
See, he's throwing it back at you, PJ. Don't tell him he's echoing.
No,
you were echoing
I
first.
said to PJ he was
Come and have a
echoing.
go.
Then I came in. But it seems to stop now.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing any echo now.
Right.
Or was on a second. No, I was what Clownfish. I think Clownfish was the first place I saw, and Neon was doing one earlier on today, and he was saying it's Hasbro like that anything they want, because the thing is they're going to make the new versions of D&D. Basically, they want to make it a pay-as-you-go, effectively pay-as-you-go
Yeah.
computer game.
I thought I heard something about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, one
That's
D&D.
naughty.
I have no interest in using a computer system to
No.
play Dungeons and Dragons. What would be the point? You can buy all the skins and stuff like that, but I like the tabletop aspect and the communication around people.
Yeah.
The idea that you're sitting and just playing a computer game on your own and talk to people, that's Fortnite, that's anything else. You,
I
Well,
think
that's
maybe
different.
it's also for people who haven't got the facility to do it in person, maybe as well. So it is a little bit disenfranchising to sort of for people who are going to have to pay for it.
Well,
I
the thing
think-
is,
Yeah.
I think part of the, as I understand, is a woman that's now in charge of either Dungeons and Dragons or WotC itself is a video games person.
well, the
And there is a
woman who was
massive
brought in was
difference-
from Microsoft, and it's
Yeah.
all about microtransactions.
Yeah, the thing is that there is a massive difference between a tabletop and a computer game.
Mm-hmm.
For starters, most of a tabletop takes place inside your head.
Yeah. Well, I was watching one today, and it basically was talking about Hasbro. And Hasbro last year, I think it was 1.3 billion, and Dungeons and Dragons is their biggest named brand, but it only made from that out of that 1.3 billion about 100 million to 150 million. So although it's their biggest brand name, it's not their biggest profit margin, and that's where the problem is. That's what they're trying to stop. They're wanting to actually make all the profit from everybody.
Yeah, I mean,
and in effect, you could create something, and they could turn around and go, "We're having that," and then just use it. So you're knackered. So you don't have your own content anymore. They could just take it and use it without you saying anything, and you can't sue them because it's in the agreement, which is nuts. But I'll stick to other games from now on. Played Castles and Crusades, and I'm enjoying that. So there is other games out there.
I meant to say as well, I watched your watched and listened to your first stream with tabletop. And then I watched part of the second one that you did as well, which was really cool. It's very interesting to hear how it all plays out. And once you get going, and I love your character, PJ, and Colin as well. Very inventive.
Someone's in trouble. Not mentioning any names, pointing directly at the dwarf. Someone's in trouble.
Well, Rubble, what can I say?
Is it the elves?
He's a troublemaker. Yeah.
It's
a trouble finder.
Rubble is a troublemaker.
Yeah.
He doesn't like anybody else who's no dwarf. Although there is another dwarf in the party, doesn't like him either. Because he's a posh dwarf.
If one might stand back a little bit, the part of the problem is that to link, in fact, some almost to actually link into the Dungeons and Dragons is racist. The orc race basically, it's all Tolkien, and the orc race is intended to be the bad guys.
So when somebody goes an orc,
when someone is allowed to make a character who is an orc, which the rules now permit, and the other characters have at the very least a distrust and dislike of, or in the case of dwarves, an actual antipathy to the point that the rules give them a bonus when fighting orcs. And one of said dwarves is a very young, chronologically, and therefore, because of that, inexperienced, I won't say immature character.
I'm only as old as my mental age.
Yeah, see, that's not good, man.
Dwarves can only count to
I grew old. I never grew up.
Yeah, we're all 8 years old in that case.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
But yeah, the Castles and Crusades gives you, basically, they make animosity as part of your character trait. So if you've got animosity, you can either ignore the game mechanics, and then in effect, where do you stop? So you don't need to actually do anything, because the game mechanics are actually there for the fun of the game. So if you ignore the game mechanics and just accept everything, then it's no really. You might as well have everybody the same race. It makes no difference.
You can do it. I mean, this is one of the things I kind of prefer games where you don't have classes and skills per se, because if you've got things where you can have pluses and minuses, you can sometimes buy things off. So you can spend experience, or you can spend points. You can say, okay, yes, my race has an antipathy towards this race. My character, because I've spent point in doing it, because I'm a player, and I as a player know I can't go through the whole game wanting to kill this character.
Mm-hmm.
As a player, what I've done in creating and building up the character, I've built into that character. I've bought off, if you like, some of that thing. or I've written into my character. My character is a bit older, chronologically and ratio wise. My character is older for an elf than PJ is for a dwarf. And I've built in, so I've got a little bit more tolerance and there because I've got a slightly older character. But yeah, you're right. It's something. If it's in the game, it's one of the reasons why. If you're going to put that in there, fine.
Yeah. The thing is, it's one of those mechanics that yes, you could just ignore it. But what would be the fun of having a game mechanic you ignore when it suits? So you have to work a way round to not so much ignore the game mechanic, but work it into your character. And being a stubborn dwarf, get there. But
were you about to say knee?
Knee.
The dwarves that say knee.
Actually, we're Scottish dwarfs, so it's the dwarfs that say nah.
No. Dwarfs that say no, he didn't.
Yeah, dwarfs that say okay, you knew.
Well, you're not too wrong there, Roman. As is thoroughly traditional with most games, we effectively started at the end, which is
that's true.
Traditional starting point for most role playing games. You start at the end.
Most lives as lives as well. Yeah, most people.
Pub.
Yeah, let's go to the pub. So what's everybody else been watching?
I've been watching Voltron, Legendary Defender.
Nice.
Ooh.
Before that, I was watching the Wolverine and the X-Men. Only one season, but not as good as the X-Men from the 80s, 90s. So
yeah,
it's okay, but not great. I prefer the more classic animation. So, but getting there. So the Voltron, it's one that's been on my list for a while, and eventually.
Oh look, we have a bot
already. Oh,
really?
Oh.
I don't see it.
I need to bounce it.
Is that me? Am I the bot?
I'm going to actually have to go in and actually edit this.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't.
It's my own fault. I forgot to actually. This is the same again. I remembered the actual intro music, but this time I forgot to actually change my settings.
You know, it's baby steps, dude. You've only been doing this for a little bit. It's good.
Yeah, getting there.
Cheerable, that's a very good question. One of the I can almost understand why, from a logical point of view, they want to stop using the word races because, unlike real life, in most role-playing games, what we call race is another species.
Yes,
literally.
Yeah,
literally. You know, I mean, winning a race. Yeah, I mean, if you take your example, if you take a Chinese baby, and let's say an orphaned baby, you know, you take a Chinese baby, and they are adopted by a couple in Nigeria, they are going to grow up speaking perfect Nigerian. Right? They're going to grow up with Nigerian. I use Nigeria as a supreme example, as with Nigerian morals, with Nigerian culture, etc., etc., etc. If you take an orc is still going to grow up and be big, strong, but not particularly smart, not particularly dexterous. But it's a good point.
It is, but that means that you can't do a space opera because you can't have aliens because of the same reason.
Oh yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is the thing is, it's almost like it's an interesting point that we do have we have an almost we're having an intelligent discussion, Roman. I know it's something you don't understand, but if you can actually tell the time, you know, the difference between the 14th and 16th centuries, maybe you just know. Yeah,
So,
actually, well, that's
what they're
actually a very
effectively
good
saying is
example.
change the subject. They've no idea what we're talking about.
They get role playing.
We were role playing two very dull characters who were talking about Dungeons and Dragons.
Got it.
That's not much role playing involved.
Well, see,
Well played.
Steve Davis, snooker player in the UK, that used to be
The
one of
only
his.
cosplaying I've done recently.
Well, Steve Davis is a snooker player. He's an older snooker player now, but he was top of his game about 20, maybe 30 years ago. One of his party tricks is because he was so famous, people would start talking to him. So he would switch into geek mode, and he would, if they asked him something, he would literally tell them detail by detail by detail everything about it in the slowest monotone voice he could find.
Oh God.
And he says it used to be funny watching people's face go, as if to say, how do I get out of this? How do I get out of this? Oh my God, he's so boring. He says it was fun watching. I used to. That was you. But basically, I used to do that with friends. If they asked me something and I knew fine well they were only asking because I was interested in it, I used to do. I used to start explaining detail by. So if they asked me about Babylon 5, I would literally even start talking about uniforms and the ship designs and how and they turn this way and they do this, and they would, you could see their face just sort of glaze over as if to say, "Oh my God, I wish I never asked them a question." Talking to another geek who we would talk about it, that's different. It's when somebody you were asking something just out of politeness. Very impolite to actually stop talking about it after that. But that's just me.
So we've made it to two squares as far as what they've watched recently. Let's move on to the next square.
Where's Paul Lind?
Yay! We need another row.
We need another person. We need Paul Lind.
You're in the Paul Lind seat, Cal.
No.
Paul Lind did not
quite as
care
wild
at
and crazy
all.
as he is. Oh man!
Right, boys, say cheerio, then I can get my seat back.
Hi, puppies.
Oh.
Ooh. Stay there. Oh, I can breathe now. My legs are actually not falling asleep anymore.
What have I been watching? I watched Glass Onion.
How did you like it? I've seen mixed things.
I've seen mixed reviews on that.
I thought it was entertaining. I mean, it wasn't as much fun as the first one, I didn't think, but it was entertaining.
What's Critical Drinkers review on that? He was
He hated it.
yes. I was going to say he was not impressed.
I mean, not to put it too delicately, he hated it. And he thought people who liked it were idiots, but I'm sorry, I thought it was entertaining. I didn't take it seriously. I knew going in I wasn't going to like it as much as the first one. Because so many sequels are not nearly as good as the first one.
Right.
And so I wasn't disappointed. It was fine. I also saw the Death in Paradise Christmas special, which was very good.
See, Ralph Little stole.
That reminds me, second part's on tonight. Well, the new season starts tonight.
It started last night, actually.
Was it?
It's been uploaded to the high seas.
Hey, excuse me, I'll be back in a minute.
He's good at pirating.
Watched all of All Creatures Great and Small, including the Christmas special. And I just loved it. Oh, it was so wonderful. And then what else did I watch? Oh, I finally finished Tom Baker in Leisure Hive, which was not good. And then I started Meglos, which is even worse. I finally found a classic Who episode that is
Spanky face.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. Sadly, the last season isn't great. It's still Tom, so I mean, he could read.
It's still Tom, but watching him become the cactus, I was just laughing.
yeah, it's a bit cringe.
It's a bit cringe.
I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they were occasional bad ones, not constant bad ones like you get nowadays.
Mhm.
Well, all of Jodie, yes, is all bad, but with Tom,
Yes.
I've become used to really great TV, and these.
You get really spoiled, yeah.
Awful.
Yeah. And those
I mean,
are just
Leisure
like
Time was better than Meglos, and that's not saying much.
yeah.
It's worse when something you love becomes something unwatchable, then something unwatchable starts as such, which was the Jodie era. You didn't get disappointed by it because you knew it was what it was.
Yeah, I didn't know that Tom's last season was going to be really bad.
Because he didn't like it. The BBC head at the time didn't want to be doing Who anymore. It just became a real hot mess.
Yeah, they were mailing it in. But I have already seen Legopolis. That was being shown in the cinema here in the States a few years back. So I saw that. But I'm going to watch it again, obviously, as part of my quest to watch all of the classics. But I am really looking forward to seeing Peter Davis.
Yeah, I'm actually, I've got it down for April onwards, restarting from William Hartnell again.
Oh, wow.
Can't do that till I finish with
Nice.
Paul McGann.
See, I finished with Sylvester McCoy. Paul McGann, just because Sylvester McCoy's in it. If he wasn't in it and it was like they did with Christopher Eccleston, I would cut off then because I wasn't a big fan of that movie.
I like.
It was only because Sylvester McCoy was in it. That's the only reason I actually class it as part of the classics. Otherwise, it would be a American bastardization. Not that
Yeah.
It's I'm not gonna lie, I was not impressed at all at first. It has grown on me. I've watched it again a few times. The only part of the film that I really, really still struggle with is the actor that played the master. I just thought he was so over the top.
Julia Roberts.
That was a
Julia
weird
Roberts.
freaking choice.
Oh, that was painful.
He's actually
Eric Roberts.
and
Oh, that was bad.
I haven't listened to them.
Melbourne was asking if I collected Doctor Who invasion cards, monster invasion cards. Right, I dug this out from behind me, as you can see there. There's a big gap now. This, believe it or not, is my. See, I don't want to break it.
Oh, dear.
So it opens up.
Is that a TARDIS?
That's a TARDIS, yes. So I've taken this, lifted it, and basically open it, and it's full of cards.
Oh, that is very clever.
And they're the monster invasion cards. Yes, I've got them all.
Cool.
Nice.
Do you know something really funny? That container, that TARDIS that opens out like that, where I work, some of our teams go out and to like deal with like fly tipping and things like that. So they're always like finding like Doctor Who stuff, like miscellaneous toys, different IPs. And when I worked down in the office, they used to like bring the stuff back for me. And one day they brought, I think it was either them that brought that back or I found that in the tip shop, but none of the cards were in it. So all it is just like a little catch-all for like bits and bobs, but it is quite cool that it opens out like that into a.
I've got two of them. One doesn't have the roof. So it does. I got it. It was in a charity shop, no roof on it. So it was just the TARDIS that opens up. I use it in work for all my paper clips and staples and stuff.
Yeah, it is really cool for that.
So I've got that one, and it's full of the monster invasion cards. So yes, I have got them. But I do like my cards because I've got a folder, and it starts with 2000 AD cards, and it's got a lot of 2000 AD. It's individual cards, but they also make up pictures.
Wow.
But I've also got Babylon 5 ones as well.
Tell us about Babylon 5, Peter.
Well, you see, in season 1, you used to have a grey uniform.
3 weeks later.
The thing, the black one with the green stripe with the white piping and the
Babylon 5 was the last of the Babylon stations. 2.5, 5 miles long, set in neutral space. 3 weeks later, we get to the end of season 1.
So when what is fly tipping?
Fly tipping over here is like illegal dumping of waste. So it's like like garbage. Like somebody just
instead of
takes
taking
garbage
your
bags and
fridge
just dumps them
to,
in the woods or
aye,
on a road or
yeah.
Oh, okay.
In effect, instead
Yeah.
of taking your fridge to, I mean, you've seen it in CSI.
Yep.
There's under a bridge, and somebody just drives up and just does it tips it out. Fly tipping.
Jacob said, "Fly tipping, is that like cow tipping?"
You need to be
Why is it a little
very,
bit
Exactly.
Because
Yeah,
there's
that's
so many
very-
cows,
people.
yeah.
you need to be very ninja-like to get fly tipping perfectly.
They're so much
Very-
tinier than cows. Cows
Yes,
eat a
and
lot
they're
of people.
basically, as soon as you go anywhere near them, they seem to go.
Cows eat
I've
a
never
should
seen
be an
lot of
Olympic
I've never
sport,
seen a
fly
cow fly
tipping.
away. So pigs fly, yes, but never a cow fly. See, a
Yeah.
Scotsman
Wow.
fly, but that was a flying Scotsman, so I don't know if that counts.
Anything
That's
like a
good.
Flying Dutchman? Yes, no?
What was that?
I didn't catch all
Is
that.
it anything like a Flying Dutchman?
That's called
You gotta
KLM.
watch those Flying Dutchmen, yeah.
Yeah, that's called KLM.
The Flying Dutchman is the difference is the Flying Dutchman's a ship, the Flying Scotsman's a
Hey,
train.
Tim, why aren't you here with the rest of us? You can be Paul Lind.
Poor Jim. Poor Jim's probably working again, right? Or is he
Oh, poor Jim.
Yeah.
run down from raiding villages over the holiday? I mean, it's a rough life being a Viking.
Yes.
All that pillaging takes a lot out of a person.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. He's probably pillaged out.
It could be. There's probably a word for that, and we'll get to that later when we get to the book. So
When we
my
catch
son and
up,
I, over the holidays, we restarted Breaking Bad. Which I
Awesome.
know it's not a geek show, but it's
Hey, very little.
there's
butter
just
watches
nothing
these
on
days.
right now that I want to watch geek wise. I know Bad Batch started again. I've kind of heard about that, so I don't know if I want to commit to it. And I just can't find it. There's nothing like clever out there that I want to watch, which is mildly painful. I know the new series The Last of Us started on HBO, and I haven't heard good things about that either. So yeah, it is. I don't want to just dive in knowing it's going to be bad. Usually when I start a series, I go in with the best assumptions, except for Willow. I knew what I was getting, and I also knew that was going to be a limited review for me. But when you know it's not good.
Willow is what we did with Wheel of Time. You started watching it, and as soon as you started watching it, you started shouting at the screen, realizing how bad it was going to be.
Yep. And I mean, and I don't want to, like I said, I have so much going on. I don't want to waste time on stuff that is just straight up garbage, and everybody already knows it's straight up garbage. And thanks, Abomination AJ, for stopping in. AJ is cool. He's got a great channel, and every Saturday morning, him and Left Eye Ego have their banter back and forth. And
Is that Saturday morning your time or Saturday morning our time?
Saturday morning my time, which would be Saturday afternoon your time. I don't know for Colin, though, in the year 1356, his new designated time.
That's basically
works.
for Colin, it's the second sundial.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Colin's
Oh
just
my
fuming
goodness.
in the background, and that's good.
Look,
I didn't
at
watch
least
it.
I'm impressed. At least you got somewhere I actually was.
All right.
I
Well,
actually
Into
was in
1356?
1356 at Poitiers.
Okay.
Is he not an actor? Is he not an actor? So were you at the Sydney?
Oh dear, at Sydney Poitiers.
Or Dion Duh.
Have you got, okay,
Guess who's coming
right.
to dinner? It's Archer Collin.
Well, no, actually, guess who's coming to dinner? Actually, unfortunately, after Poitiers, it was the French king.
Right.
Doing much.
Well, Dion de Poitiers, wasn't she a mistress of one of the French kings?
I think so. I'm not sure which one, but
You're opening that can of worms, Julie. Don't do it.
Julie is a librarian, and no, you're not a
Yes.
librarian, are you?
I was librarian.
You're a librarian, and the daughter of an English
Of a
history
history
professor.
professor, yes.
Poitiers is where we captured the French king. Brought him back to the Tower of London. And when the Dauphin couldn't make up the money to pay for him, the King of France said, I'll go back, I'll raise the money, and if I can't go on my honour as a chivalric knight, I will come back. He couldn't raise the money, he came back, and he died in the Tower of London.
Wow.
I just love how they used to call the heir to the throne the Dolphin.
Yes, it's great.
It cracks me up every time.
Amazing.
I mean, why not a porpoise?
Oh, dear.
I don't know, an orca.
Yeah.
I was going to say at least he had a porpoise who wasn't the spare.
Oh God!
Ah.
I was actually thinking of that, but I thought even it's too bad. For
No,
me to
that's
say.
brilliant. I admit, given all the nonsense that's been going on in U.S. politics over the past couple of days, I
don't
wanted. I preferred to watch all the stuff about Harry and his book instead of watching.
Yeah.
Do you know who I was watching?
Oh,
I was watching Jose.
That's how bad it is here.
Yeah, I was watching Jose. It's a Mexican guy. He's basically a body language expert, and you should.
Oh, I like that
ripping
guy.
it to shreds.
The body
I
language.
like that guy. The body
Uh-huh.
language guy. Yeah,
I love
he's really
him.
interesting.
A lot.
He
Yeah.
basically ripped it to shreds, and he was basically saying, see the one he was going on about how when she had the miscarriage, they gave her the package and she walked out of the hospital with it and took it to a secret place and buried it by him digging out a hole with his bare hands. And he says that's effectively his mother's story, because in a book in 2017, one of her friends said that she did it with her friend who
Right.
had
I heard
a
that.
stillborn. And basically they went into Kensington Gardens or something like that and says it was a pet they were going to the bury and it was a baby. They did it in secret, but he's used that story.
I tell you, this
and
guy
basically
is Norman Bates.
mental.
He's Norman Bates.
Wait, who's Norman Bates? I'm not sure who the Norman is.
Prince Harry.
Oh, okay. I didn't know where we
mean,
were. I got
He's
lost for a minute. I
He's
apologize.
praying to his
Getting
mother.
weird.
He's praying to his mother.
Getting weird.
Wife have a baby. He apparently keeps a box of her hair by his bed.
Well, let's
That's
be
Yeah,
fair.
see, this is information we
Um,
didn't want to know.
usually-
And
you see
also,
things
did
like
you see
that,
the bit
there's a
about
hand or a
the
foot somewhere
paparazzi?
Oh
nearby.
my God!
Did you see
This book is just. This man is insane.
Uh-huh.
He
Did you
needs
see
to
the Did you
be
see
serious.
the part in the story about the paparazzi following them?
Mhm.
They were giving it as if they're being hounded. There's no pictures of any paparazzi, but they kept showing pictures of Diana. So they're
Oh, yeah.
implying that they're just the same as Diana getting hounded. You can see the paparazzi at her car, the flashing lights and all that. They're saying there's somebody following us. They're still in their garage at the place where they're leaving, tinted windows, and they're looking around as if somebody's following them in the garage.
Oh yeah.
It's nuts. It's just
I mean, he
I have
really
not
is
seen
strange.
any of this.
no. Basically, I've just been watching clips of people talking
Oh,
about
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I'm only barely aware that it exists, just in the peripheral. Like I said, Breaking Bad, I've been really enjoying again. I forgot how good that
hated
series
Breaking
was.
Bad.
Yeah. I
To
still have.
me, that is time in my life I will never get back. Everybody was telling me Breaking Bad is great. You should
Oh,
watch
you
it.
didn't?
I've
So you
never
didn't
watched
like
it.
it?
I watched the first season.
No,
Sure.
And people were saying second season gets better from then. I watched the second season. Oh, it gets better in the third season. Watched it, and I see by the end of it, I was glad everybody was getting killed. At least I know it's finished. I don't need to watch. I just, to me,
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, everybody ends up fine at the end. When it's glorious.
They all go
that's good.
to live on a farm in the country.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
Well.
lovely, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love
I
the
heard
series. I didn't find one season better or worse than the other. I actually enjoyed all. I think it's 6 seasons of it. We're still in the middle right now. I think we're on season 3 again. I like
Yeah.
everything about the show. I like Jesse Pinkman is obtuse as obtuse can be. And Walter still keeps dealing with his dumb ass, which I find just amazing. And I like all the add-on characters, Mike the tough guy, Gus of Los Pollos Hermanos, all these other characters, Tuco, the weird drug dealer with a little bit of a temper. And there's just so many interesting other characters on the show, aside from even, Walt and Pinkman the dummy. I love the show. I can't even not.
Yeah,
talk
I've
good
heard
about the
great.
show.
I've heard a lot of
It's great
people
show.
love it. It's
I
it's,
must
it's
admit,
here.
I-
only,
I-
you know, the only good thing about it, it came out
We'll
of it.
eventually have a look at
Oh,
it.
good man.
Someone lent us the set of it quite a while ago. And I've offered
now
like
it's
20
yours.
times to No, I've offered like 20 times. I'm like, dude, I don't think we're gonna get to this like in the next century. And they're just like, no, it's all right, just keep it. I'm like, okay. Now I feel guilty, so I have to watch it. So
No, it's really good. I think you'll probably enjoy it. I know PJ has his, like I said, he has his not too dark perspective, which would make him not like the show. I get that. I also, and you probably saw, we did our rewatch of Star Trek, from Wrath of Khan through Star Trek 4, and then on this, which I really liked watching those movies again, because it had been a long time since I'd seen them, and you know how good they are, and then you watch them and you're reminded of how good they are. Even the one with the whales, the humor was there, but it wasn't overdone, so it didn't come off as goofy. The comedic exchange between Shatner and Leonard Nimoy was gold.
it was gold.
First Contact, the only good next gen movie.
Thank you very much. Totally agree. I love that movie. I've heard
great.
it was so much fun, and it was just a good standalone
they do
movie from the Star Trek universe.
With canon a little bit with that, the whole timeline.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah.
I know. I still like the movie though. And
I
then,
did.
Actually, on September. Whoa, wait! I did a Archer column. And on January 17th, at 5 Pacific Standard, just a little future plug, over on Jacob Ironside's channel, we're going to be covering Star Trek 6. I imagine a very similar kind of exchange that we've had for all the other shows. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I haven't watched that one again yet, but I'm looking forward to watching that one. Although, and I don't want to get beat in the face already about it. That one is not, I don't know, because Star Trek 5 was so bad, I think Star Trek 6 tried really hard to make up for it, and I think a lot of things are forced, but it's way better than 5. And I actually like Star Trek the Motion Picture better, and I know I'm like one of 7 people who like Star Trek the Motion Picture, so that's a tough sell. But I like the reintroduction of the crew better than what I thought was a forced exit of the crew. And I know I'm rambling about Star Trek 6, but
no, that's
it was like,
Cool.
why does this have to be their last mission? Why do you have to sell it like that? You can just, have, and the mission continued, or something, just let it know they're still out there doing their thing. It's fine. You don't need to force retire them. That's what happens in the military, actual military. In the actual military, none of them would have had a job at this point anyway, because none of what Starfleet does works in actual conventional military terms. That's neither here nor there. And how do I get started on this? I'll blame Colin, but it's probably not his fault.
Remind me, I genuinely can't remember. Star Trek 5 was the one where David Warner was the Klingon ambassador. Star Trek 6 was the one where David Warner was the human ambassador, right?
No, you're mixing
The other way around.
Star Trek 5, he was the human ambassador. 6, he was the Klingon. So it was nice. He actually got a redemption out of Star Trek 5, though.
Star Trek 5 was never let William Shatner direct a film again.
Yeah.
Star Trek 5 was Kirk's dream while he's asleep on the camping trip.
Well, I mean, so many things were wrong with 5. I don't even need to watch it again to critique it. Aside from William Shatner's direction, the plot, a lot of the acting, ILM didn't do the effects for the movie. It was like 2 dudes in a garage with models and some lighting. And you can tell. You can tell. And it's like, Bob, move the model a little further towards the camera. All right, Bill, I'll take care of it. And he's just right there.
Canada.
Good stuff.
And another thing, I
Canada.
want to mention this. Why are they the only ship in the bloody quadrant again?
Wait, what?
Why are they the only ship in the quadrant again? Every time. Oh my God. 1 minute. There we go.
No, special tour.
No.
You sound like you're talking underwater.
They say, the Enterprise is the only ship in the quadrant.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's always, where's all the other ships?
These
It's
are
not-
all excellent
Quadrant
questions.
implies that there's 4. So there's one, they're the only one, and then the other 3 have like 50,000 ships. I don't get it.
That would.
No, it's forced plot device. I mean, Star Trek V was like
Who's
entirely
echoing
forced
now?
plot device. You know, Uhura's dance is something that I can't ever unsee, and I wish I could.
Right, we're getting an echo.
Is it me?
Well, you're echoing, but I don't know if it's coming from you. It could be if somebody else has got
I
it.
don't think so. All my devices are off.
All mine are off or muted.
1356 calling. 1356 calling.
No, it sounds fine.
I turned off my mic, so I don't
We
hear
can
any-
still hear you though. So I mean, who knows?
Yeah. I turned off the
Nobody knows.
I see when I turn off my mic, I just need to speak a wee bit louder and you can still hear me.
I know it keeps happening. It doesn't
Nobody
matter.
ever told me I need feedback.
Yeah, that's what I said in the bar. Every time he reads it, he hears it in my voice.
It's true. It's true. It's like after you see Batman the animated series, every Batman you hear is Kevin Conroy's voice. Every Scottish thing I read is in PJ's voice. So thank you, PJ. I can't get you out of here now.
Normally it takes me an hour just explaining detail by detail for people to say, I can't get the voice out of my head.
You can't what? I'm not going to do anything else today. So for this show, I do have some stuff because Mr. AWK and I were talking a little bit ago about some more future music stuff coming up.
Yeah.
So over the holidays, Matt, the drummer, and he's still working on his bit for equipment, but I have a new keyboard out here in the music studio of the Empire.
Nice.
I've got another interface I bought so we can get better sounds out of the drums. It's just like the interface I have, except it has more inputs. So I wish I hadn't bought the other one, but that's neither here nor there. So we're going to be able to produce some more interesting things this upcoming season of Let's Talk Geeky. So
Yay.
anyway,
Lovely.
I'll end my
Excellent.
rant there. We got off on Star Trek. We went to music. PJ made fun of me for a little while. Colin went back to 1356, and Mr. AWK was underwater. So we're all
Julie went with him.
Everything's wrapping up.
Julie did what?
You went with him.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh God.
And I expanded back here. That's one of the other
Yes,
things I did during the
He
holidays.
expanded. So for his Christmas, his wife decided to get him another shelving unit so he could get more of his rubbish out of the house. That's why I ended up with a man cave, because when we moved into this house, I says I would like a room in my own. My wife says, good, none of your shite in my house. I've got my man cave and the rest of the house is hers.
I was going to say earlier, because of the way you're both like positioned on the stream, it looks like you're actually in the same room. Is this? Yeah. Is that? Is that true? Yeah. There's something we don't know.
We're actually sitting facing each other.
Hand reaches across from one and comes into the other.
Yes, superb displays, both of you. That is just awesome. Really awesome. So cool to see.
So it's a funny side story. It's not really fun. It's not funny. It's mildly amusing. Which is like most of the stories.
We'll take mildly amusing. That's good.
We'll determine that.
Well, I'll get the
I
giggles.
ordered
Anyway.
this thing on eBay, this display. And it showed up like a couple days later, and it said it was from Walmart. And I'm like, I didn't order anything from Walmart. And then on my eBay, it says your order is coming. And I'm like, did I drunk order another display? And I didn't. It's just like something weird happened. If I end up with another one though, I don't actually know what I'm going to do with it. I don't have more room for expansion out here with current base, but who knows?
You're going to need a bigger boat.
I need more.
Shelves where I
Yeah,
can just
definitely
add
need a
extra
bigger
shelves in without any problems.
Because the problem with collecting is these stands aren't tall on their own. They have to be on something. So I don't have the other something for it to be on. I could acquire something, but then that's more money that Mrs. of the Empire is going to wonder, where did that money go? And I'll be like,
I don't know. Don't go in the garage.
The best one I have is my wife says I'm a secret shopper, as she's handed me 4 or 5 parcels.
Yeah.
Sorry, what's secret about that? I get them delivered to the house. You hand them to me. How's that a secret shopper? If I got them delivered to my work and they were in my bag, yeah, that's a secret shopper. But if they're coming in and you're handing me these parcels saying you're a secret shopper,
I'm
I
not
must be
good at
doing it
being
wrong.
secret.
I must be doing it wrong.
I have a serious Star Trek question since you recently saw the films, Roman. When the Enterprise crew went back to save the whales, I honestly wonder if Captain Kirk ever came across an ancestor of his who was a police sergeant.
Oh, God.
Hey, Mr. Mr. Hooker, I believe his name
TJ
was.
Kirk, you mean? Yeah.
Yep.
That's what we, when TJ Hooker was on, my mate and I, we used to call him TJ Kirk.
Well, the reason I took some,
he was wonderful in that.
I just
I
had to
just love
double
that
check.
show. It's so cheesy. It's great.
TJ Hooker was 82 to 86, and
Yeah,
they went back to
it's great.
86. I had to check that. That was to make sure that joke would actually work.
Yeah, the
No, it was
good
pretty
thing is,
good.
I'm the only
Pretty
one.
good.
In,
We all got it.
I'm the only one in this stream that can do this properly with the accent. Computer.
Yay!
Yes.
The
Hello,
Professor Scott
computer?
scene was so funny. I loved that so much because when McCoy's like, you realize you're messing with the timeline, and Scott's like, what? How do we know he didn't invent the thing? And they both look at each other and smile. It's like, yeah, got it.
Yeah, I like and I also hate time travel movies.
Yeah.
I like them if they don't actually take them too seriously and don't even mention about messing with the timeline. That's fun because they just play it. But it's when they start going on about messing with the timeline. As soon as you start talking about that, then you've put that in the head of the people that right, we need to try and work this out. So when they go back in time, it's like what was it? Not Back to the Future. What was the awful one? When they go back in time and mess with the future, and then they go back in time and mess with it again to fix it, and you're sitting there thinking, "Oh."
Did
What's
you
that, Julie?
ever see Frequency?
I've heard of that. I don't
I've heard of
think
it. I've
I've
not
ever
seen
seen
it.
it.
Wonderful.
Not in a
Is it?
long time.
Is that
Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid?
Quaid.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, Dennis Quaid doing a really, really bad Queen's accent.
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah, it's painful. But it's really, it is a different kind of time travel movie.
Okay.
Dennis Quaid is a fireman in 1969, Queens, New York. He has a little boy named John and a wife who's a nurse. And one day, I'm sorry?
I've the reason I've recognizing it is I don't know if I've seen it, but I've heard what it's about and somebody recommended it to me. So,
Really good, really good. It's
Thanks for that.
father-son bonding, time travel, murder mystery. Really good. Highly recommend it.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
Melvin.
Geeky says it was also a series.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
I never saw the series. I didn't think it would be as good.
Oh, that's interesting. I did not know that.
Just
No,
from
not me.
that two
I didn't
line,
know there was a TV series about it either.
that two lines hung up. It sounds a little bit. I think my gut things in common with. Wasn't there a film recently? A science fiction film where Ryan Reynolds or
The
back in
Adam Project.
went back and met his son or something like that. So
Yeah,
that
Thing,
sound-
too.
I actually liked that movie. I thought
I've not seen it.
even though Mark Rufio's in it, and I hate him as a person, I thought the
You
movie
hate
was
who?
really enjoyable.
You hate Ryan Reynolds?
I like Ryan Reynolds. I hate Mark Rufio.
Oh yeah, I can't stand Mark Ruffalo, except he was good in Almost Heaven.
I don't know that one. He's usually good
Was that
in
West
whatever
Virginia?
he's
Or was that Mount
No.
Mama?
No.
Oh, sorry, that's
This was with Reese Witherspoon, who plays a dead woman whose spirit gets Mark Ruffalo to help her.
probably
sleep
the
with.
only kind of woman who would talk to Mark Rufio would be a dead woman. So he was also good. I'm sorry. He was also good in Zodiac, though. If you've
Yes,
ever
he was
seen,
very good in
I
Zodiac.
loved Zodiac. That's
Zodiac was great.
it's a little dark. PJ, you may not wait. Gender swap main character, but not awful. Okay, got it. Having never, like I said, it's been so long since I've seen the original. It's just more of an abstract in my head. I know it exists, and I know Dennis Quaid is in it. But as far as a series go, I could stumble into that and not have any idea what I'm watching.
I never saw the series.
So don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But the movie's wonderful. Highly recommend it.
Cool.
The worst line I think that for time travel was there was a line in Hercules where Hercules they got dragged around time and Hercules told Aeolus not to mess with the space-time continuum.
Okay.
I like Hercules. I like Xena. I hated that line. Yeah. That line was so anachronistic. I could deal with the fact that in her lifetime, Xena can meet Helen of Troy and King Arthur. But when I was saying no.
The good thing about fantasy is you could work it around without having time travel mentioned.
Yeah.
But yes, but when they do mention time travel, you're sitting there going, like they did the episode where they ended up in a studio. Who was filming in Xena?
Oh, that was they did a couple of those, didn't they? They did one where yes, Regina, there is a Hercules. I think they did one where, but that basically, if I remember right,
the very first time I saw that trope where they're acting out, they're doing something, and then you hear suddenly in the background cut, and then it flicks to a studio, and they're all looking at each other thinking, what are we doing here? Because they're still in character, and they're meant to be in a studio, the actors acting the character. They've done it in Xena, they've done it in Hercules. The first time I saw it was in Erie, Indiana.
First time I saw it was UFO.
Yeah.
They've done it on Supernatural as well. That was their one weird episode of the season.
Yes, I've done it. And the very first time I remember seeing it, I suppose, was Erie, Indiana. And I actually thought, I like that concept. It was just because it was the first time I'd seen it. It was just so out of there that the boys worrying about something, and then you hear cut, and he looks round, and then suddenly the rest of the actors get up and they basically start talking and walking off, and he's going, "Mum, Dad, where are you going?" It just doesn't understand it, and I thought it was quite a good concept. And then obviously I've seen it so many times now.
And other things, yeah.
The one I was there was an episode of. I think they did a couple of them. They did an episode of Hercules and possibly sequel on Xena, where basically it's where they're actually making an episode of Hercules in presumably Los Angeles, Hollywood, and they can't find Kevin Sorbo. Kevin Sorbo running late, and you hear reports about an accident and I think there was a road traffic event or something. And basically, some big, strong bloke rescue. The baseline was at the end of it, Kevin Sorbo is Hercules.
Was that not the one, the whole episode, apart from the very end, he was in it? I think the reason they filmed that one like that is because, is that not when he was going through chemo or something like that?
Oh,
I don't know.
There was something he had. I don't know if it was a muscle disease or it was a cancer, but I remember there was times he wasn't in the episode, and it was because he was having to get treatment.
I didn't know that, but no, I mean, I remember is that the base they never actually out and say it, but they imply it so thoroughly that actually Hercules, being immortal, is currently working as an actor in Hollywood called Kevin Sorbo.
No, that's very meta.
It was.
So in effect, Hercules was in Andromeda.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I liked Andromeda, I must admit. I know at the end it got a wee bit weird, but
Andromeda. What was Andromeda? I'm not familiar with that.
Andromeda was about the starship. He woke up 100.
Oh no, I vaguely remember that. That didn't last long, right?
I think it was,
Yeah,
was it
four
3 years,
seasons.
4 seasons?
Four
Oh
seasons.
really? I guess it did last long then. Okay. I somehow that one's just like, whew.
Aye, because you had the neat chains and stuff like that. So I enjoyed it. So I did. The first at the beginning it was a lot better, but it's typical. As they go on the seasons, they have to change things up, which makes things bigger and badder. And
Okay.
you're sitting there thinking, why does everything have to be about the end of the universe?
Mm.
Can they
Well,
not
you-
actually just bring it down and just do, oh, we're saving this ship, or something's happening,
Right.
somebody's attacking? And it's-
Smaller scale stuff.
yeah,
Like Spider-Man saving something in New York instead of a worldwide event kind of thing.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
I liked Andromeda, but it did start getting to the point where it was you had an evil alternate dimension big bad. So is this the devil that's coming in to do it? And you're sitting there thinking, really? They're using
Oh,
that
Lord.
trope.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But-
mean, the thing is that they did that a little bit similar. They did it on Lex as well. Where then all of a sudden you got an entire season set on one planet, and you think, "Where's the Starship?"
Yeah.
But I mean, it's great. I mean, Kevin Sorbo, I've got a lot of respect for Kevin Sorbo. He's one of the very few people in. Well, he's not in anymore. He's not allowed in near
Right. Him and James Woods and
Hollywood anymore because he's
Yeah.
he's at the right wing. He's the evil incarnate. He's a practicing Christian, but he obviously got a lot of time for taking the mickey out of himself. Because at one point I remember him saying something along the lines of, he had such a great career that he goes into Hercules and everybody loves Xena, which is probably true, and then he goes into Andromeda
Yay,
and everybody
Xena.
and everybody wants to sleep in the starship because, of course, you had the robot. You had Lexa Doig playing
Yes.
the voice
Playing Romy.
playing
Romy, the
ship
ship's android.
and the
avatar.
AI and the android. And interestingly, there is one where she comes up against one episode or two episodes, I think, where they come up against another ship which has got an android. Really
And
interesting because she's actually married to the android.
Yeah, it was the one
It's
that
Michael
played
Shanks.
Daniel Jackson.
Yeah.
in
It's Michael
Stargate.
Shanks, and
Michael
she's
Shanks.
married to Michael Shanks.
Yeah, the ship was a cool ship as well.
Yeah.
Just the flowing lines of it.
It was a beautiful. I remember watching it, and I thought I was somewhat disappointed when I would love to have seen them. I mean, I presume that it wouldn't have been viable prosthetics wise, but if they'd had the insectoid character hadn't been killed off at the end, so I thought that was great, and it was a different character, different. Not seen much like that before. Because some of the aliens obviously was made in the 90s, and the aliens were alien in Hercules. In Andromeda, the aliens were aliens.
Because you had the one that was the Magog, which were big berry things with it looked like a pig snout or under and they were basically cannibalistic, whatever. Well, cannibalistic. I suppose they would eat anything, even other dead Magog.
Didn't they?
They were the big bad in one of the seasons.
Yeah, but didn't they also lay eggs in other?
They did.
Eggs.
They basically
Reality,
and they basically hatched and ate you from the inside.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Like
I loved
almost
Lex as well. Lex
Yeah, we
was a
got bugs
great
that do
show.
that
I
here.
loved that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I loved the Brunin G. Used to be the guy Swaggered, the one that played what was his name? Kai. He sort of swaggered. He had a bun on his head, his hair, and he looked ridiculous. But see the way he swaggered, he just looked cool.
They did. Lex also did when they replaced the lead actress.
Yep.
They did it in universe. It's one of these ones where they didn't have look, Pamela Sue Martin's gone away and she's come back as Emma Sams or anything, or anything like that. They actually literally had her literally remade.
Aye, because initially she was a larger lady who was
Oh no.
transformed into
Yeah,
a
no.
sex slave. So,
Oh yeah, I know that bit. But that's
so
what
no, but I'm saying is it
Yeah.
was from the very first episode.
Yeah.
They had that already allocated
Yeah.
that they can do that in universe. That's what I was
Yeah.
meaning.
Oh, sorry, yeah, they done it. Yeah, and then of course, so all of her sex slave programming ends up in the robot's head instead.
Yes, so she was about to be programmed to be a sex slave, and she shoved the robot in, and it gets like me. And it's
that
first
was-
person. It sees it embeds a god upon,
Yeah.
and it embedded upon Zeb, which
What's
means
that?
anytime Stanley Tweedle tried
Lex.
to do anything, it
Never
would
saw
hate
it.
him because his Zeb was there as well, and he thought Stanley was trying to get in their pants.
What do you mean? Stanley was.
He was, of course, he
trying to
was.
get in their
That's the thing about Stanley. He was just wanting to actually be the cool guy that everybody loved.
Yeah. Poor Ozev. Physiologically, how should we say this without being extremely sexist? Physiologically, she was
Smoking hot.
smoking hot and constantly in a state of readiness. She just wasn't psychologically because the program hadn't taken place. So her body responded to Stan, but mentally she actually wanted to shag the dead guy.
Ew.
That got so weird so fast.
And that's getting
Actually,
weird.
Kai was
I
the
don't
last.
wanna
of
watch
the
it.
Bruning- Kai was last of the Bruning G. The insect knew that the Bruning G would cause its downfall, so it massacred the whole planet. But it kept Kai alive as an assassin. Eventually, he gets his memory back, so he's basically dead. But they reanimate him every time he's sending on a mission, and he has to have this fluid in to keep him alive, as it
Oh,
were.
wow.
So basically, that's when as a dead man, he's got no inclinations.
I like
shall we
Dead
say.
Like Me better.
I like Dead Like Me.
seen
That's
that
that's
yet.
good.
That was a great
That's a
show.
good series.
Yeah.
So
Dead
was-
Like Me, that was the one about the funeral. It wasn't about the one about the girl who got hit with the toilet
Yes,
seat.
the
on
girl got
stage.
hit by the
Yeah.
space toilet.
So
or
that
the
Dead Like Me,
space
yeah, I
station.
like that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Which
other
is a
one I
Reaper.
was least keen on.
No, this
Pushing
one-
There was
Daisies
Pushing
was
Up
that other
Daisies
one.
as well.
Pushing Daisies, I loved. I know
See,
a lot
I wasn't as keen on that one, but the Dead Like Me, I like the idea that basically the Grim Reaper was basically passing it on to trainees. Here, you go and do that one.
Yeah,
It,
a
just,
little
it seemed
poster.
to get a nice idea. Terry Pratchett did it.
Really? Terry Pratchett.
Terry Pratchett did one in the. That's why you've got the Death of Rats, because when Death took a holiday, all these other deaths came into being to
Well,
deal with all the other things, and
you-
then when he came back, he had to absorb all the deaths, and the Death of Rats he kept out as a companion. That's why you've got the Death of Rats and the
Well,
Terry
shit,
Pratchett books. It's a similar idea. It
Not only
basically,
that-
like when Rincewind's on the point of dying, there's one of the minions there, and he's saying, "Hey, wait a minute, I'm a wizard. I should have death here. I don't want an apprentice."
Well, yeah, don't forget he did have an apprentice.
Oh my.
Yes, Mort.
Mort, and because he had an apprentice,
right.
when Mort fell for the princess and they had a kid, the kid
Yes.
was technically Death's granddaughter, which is where you get Susan Stohelic from, as in Hogfather.
Mhm.
She is quite literally Death's granddaughter because her biological father was a human who was taken on as an apprentice by Death.
We
Oh,
love Pratchett.
we
We
love
absolutely love Pratchett.
Pratchett was great.
We
Yeah,
basically
more-
have a wall of Pratchett.
Speaking of Pratchett, I know he wasn't involved in the New Good Omens, but does anybody know
Oh,
when
God.
it's coming out?
No, see the Good Omens with David Tennant. I thought that was okay. I thought the book was far superior,
Oh, the
but
book was wonderful, but I did enjoy the show. I did.
I thought the book show. I've got it actually on my shelf. I did enjoy it, but it's one of those ones that I could watch maybe once or twice a year and just think, that was okay.
Hmm.
But the book the audiobook I can listen to every year and
I need to
really
listen
enjoy
to
it.
the audiobook. I can imagine that would be really fun. Who's the narrator?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Because I only read it in regular words, but I think that could
So
be
you were the narrator.
good
Is that what you're
audiobook.
saying?
Yeah.
But pardon?
You were the narrator.
Exactly. But I think I actually liked the first series, and I did read the book first. But I just loved the relationship between Tennant and Sheen, and
Yeah.
that's the other thing I
thought
did.
they played off each other very well.
It
That's
was,
the other thing I
it
did.
was brilliant. Yeah.
Binge watch all of Staged 3.
We've gone through all staged. Yeah. We've been through stage
I've seen
3.
that.
Yeah.
Stage 3 was my favorite of all 3. I was just laughing till I cried.
It was, it is brilliant. Staged came about during the pandemic, during the early part of the lockdown. Started out, have you heard of it at all, PJ? It's
Yep.
basically kind of like real life kind of fly on the, supposedly it's obviously not,
It's all
but
but you wouldn't know it.
It's scripted, but you wouldn't know it. And it's David Tennant as himself, Michael Sheen as himself, basically like video chatting from their homes, and just shooting the shit and joking about things and sharing their neuroses and and it's absolutely fascinating to watch, and it turned out to become like a really cult. They just have a huge cult following, so they've done 3 series of it.
Georgia Tennant was one of the executive producers. I mean, she was really pretty much in charge of a lot of it.
Yeah, it's fun.
And Stage 3, I'm sorry, 1 and 2, they were in the process of filming or rehearsing for a play or a TV show. And then this one is more back to real life, and it's almost they sort of do a mockumentary. They're talking about a documentary of the first 2 series. So there's a lot of flashbacks. It's funny as hell. George Tennant's in it. Michael Sheen's partner, Anna Lundberg, I think her name is.
I think so.
In
Yeah.
it.
They just play well off each other.
Oh, yeah,
Sheen
Whoopi
and Tennant
Goldberg
are.
in it, which, believe it or not, she doesn't play herself, so she's decent. God, who else is in it? Most of the people are in this thing. It's wonderful.
So the woman who is at the same time the doctor's wife, the doctor's daughter,
Right.
and the only real female doctor.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now she's a doctor's assistant.
And she comes in, then she'll be the doctor's mother.
Yes.
So much.
Getting weird.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a family affair. Ty Tennant is in
Oh,
this too.
dear. Whoopi
Oh
Goldberg.
yeah, Ty is in it.
Which
Yeah,
one is he?
it's really good.
It's really,
Is that the
really
older
Agent
Tennant,
Less.
or is that
He's
is
the
it
older one. He's the one that
the
was
one who was
in.
in House of Dragons?
Georgia and
Yeah.
Hazel.
Yeah.
Jeez,
Do you know what one you want to see a doctor in? Neverwhere. Peter Capaldi.
Not seen that.
Mhm.
Oh,
Love
that
Haven't-
was,
I got
Yeah, we
Neverwhere.
haven't
I
seen
quite
that.
enjoyed it.
I still
It
need
is
a
from
local
a book,
hero.
and it is a weird one. It's not something you could think tie down the story, so somebody can actually travel through any door anywhere in the underverse, and basically, so all the fantasy realms are actually true, and you can interact with them all in the Undercity. So basically, like under London, there's an actual other under London, and basically that's where it all takes place. And the woman who's the story's about, she can open any door, and it takes her to anywhere else that she wants it to be.
What's the name of this?
Neverwhere.
Neverwhere.
Never.
Yeah, I've
Peter
heard of
Capaldi.
it. We just
Yeah.
haven't gotten around to
Yeah.
seeing it.
Yeah,
I
Peter
didn't catch
Capaldi.
the
It was a
name
Neil
before everybody
Gaiman
was
one.
talking. Never what?
Neverwhere.
Never where? Don't know it.
Peter Capaldi's in it. It's a Neil Gaiman one.
Oh,
Mhm.
really?
it's,
Okay.
it's,
Speaking of the doctor's wife,
I'll tell you what else.
Yeah,
I'll
but
tell you what else it sounds a little bit like. There's a book series which I quite like to see them do, but not modern day. Called by Jasper Ford, called Thursday Next, And
Oh, I remember. I read that.
Oh, we've got a few of his books. Yeah.
She the first one is called The Air Affair, and most of it
Yes.
quite literally takes place literally between the pages of Jane Eyre.
Right.
Yes,
It's
which is
a
one of my favorite
I,
stories.
me too. I love Jane Eyre.
It's a
Great.
fantastic
See, when I was
idea.
in the charity shop today, I was going to pick up something, and the only reason I was going to pick it up was to show it. It was the Jane Eyre classics.
Ooh.
Oh, sorry, no, the Jane Eyre classics. It was who's the author?
Charlotte Bronte.
Bronte classics, and it had all the different movies that they'd done. I think there was about 3 or 4.
Oh,
So it was
there
all
must
the movies,
be
and I was going to pick it up just to
Wuthering
go, Kelly, look what I've got. But I decided I'll never watch them. They'll just sit in the shelf. But so I
You
left
sent
them.
it to me. I
Aw.
watched it. Except I admit I did. When did you ever see Wuthering? Did you ever read Wuthering Heights?
I haven't read it. No.
I found it unreadable because it's a bunch of just batshit crazy people.
Yeah.
And a lot of
That's good enough
And
for me.
I'm now going to spend half the rest of the night with Kate Bush running around inside my head. Not necessarily a bad image.
I was going to say that might not be a bad thing.
1980s.
Hello, everyone.
Listen, I'll go. But
Hey.
the thing is,
Hey, Sadako.
the central conceit of the Thursday Next books is that, be careful about this because it's utterly nuts. The land of fiction is real, and you can go into books, and all the people in the books are real people, but they know their characters in the books.
Are you still talking about the Jasper for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're effectively actors, and they know. And I'm not sure quite how it works because at one point it suggests that they're on stage anytime anybody's reading the books.
It's a fascinating concept. It's been quite a few years since we picked up those books, and I think I read one, and Darren read a couple of them. I picked a couple of them up for him, and we do have them, but I haven't gone back to it. But it was a fantastic concept, really different.
One of my favourite lines in it though comes from the fact that, as they say, books take place mostly in your head, and what people think they place how people think. Look, and the complaint is that because of this, Harry Potter is getting pissed off that he looks more and more like Daniel Radcliffe.
Alex Kingston wrote a book called The Ruby's Curse, where it's about Melanie Malone, not Alex Kingston. It's Melanie Malone. But at one part, River Song becomes part of the Melanie Malone book. So she's actually in the pages of a book that she's writing. And I listened to the audio because I thought listening to Alex Kingston read it herself would be.
How is she as the narrator? She's
wonderful. I thought she was wonderful.
Good.
This book is so much fun, and I'm glad I listened to it rather than read it.
Yeah, there are some that.
I firmly believe. I used to think that listening was not reading, but it is, because once you think about 1350 something, before movable type, most people didn't have books and they listened to stories. So listening really is still reading.
That's a really good observation. Yeah, it is. It's classic storytelling, isn't it?
It's still
how knowledge is to be passed down. Yeah,
the audio is wonderful. Highly recommend it.
Cool.
I've read the, because I think there's a couple, because one of them is written, supposedly written by Amy Pond.
Yes,
as the Melanie Malone one. I've read that one, and I think but I don't, because I think the one, the Alex Kingston one, I don't think I've read that one.
This has been out about a year and a half tops.
Yeah, because I think, I think I've got
that's
I
had no idea.
The cover is like one of the. I think it looks like the Target covers, so maybe it's a Target novel. I don't know.
Well,
this is a trailer. This is a trailer on IMDb's page for Neverwhere. It's only about 20 seconds.
Oh, okay, that looks.
I vaguely remember it.
Why did you have to come here?
And now he must brave its most dangerous neighborhood.
Knightsbridge.
Knightsbridge. A bodyguard can protect his back, but who'll guard his dreams?
Now is the time to be afraid of the dark.
Neverwhere. urban fantasy. Thursday.
So you had like Knightsbridge in London. Underneath it, there's a Knightsbridge where the night guards.
Okay.
I know where Knightsbridge is. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and then in the underwear, Undercity, it's
Where?
Knightsbridge, so it's a bridge that the night guards. It sounds like that, so they use that, and there's fantasy. Some of the
Did you throw
characters
you off
in it.
if you got the answer wrong?
Some of the characters in it are great. So, yeah, I mean, you've got Peter Capaldi as Islington. He's an angel. You have, right, so the girl who in it, Laura Fraser, she plays Door.
Oh,
She's named her name and what she does is she opens a door and it leads it to somewhere else. Then you've got Howell Bennett. Remember, was it Lovejoy? No, Lovejoy.
No, he was.
He plays Mr. Croup. So you've got two people out trying to assassinate him. So Mr. Croup, it was very much like a Terry Pratchett, where you had the two very well-talking gentlemen who are actually assassins and psychos, but they talk to each other very pleasantly and politely. And yeah, I mean,
Prime has it. No, yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend that. I quite enjoyed it. There's
Nobody's
some
got it for free.
How many
there's some
episodes are
really
there?
good ones in it.
It's 6 episodes, isn't it?
That's what it
Right,
says.
it's only 6 episodes.
Yeah, 6 plus an interview.
Mhm.
And Prime has it in the States, and they don't tell you how much they charge for it.
Oh, okay, it's one of those.
Yeah, they're a surprise.
Oh, you can buy each episode for $2.
But I would definitely get a chance to, even on the open seas, you might find it.
Yeah, well, I tried looking on the open seas, didn't see it, but
Is that a BBC series? It was, yeah.
It's a BBC too, yes.
I wonder if it's on BritBox.
Yeah.
I'll have to look.
Beat me
Well,
to it,
the thing is, I would show you the DVD, but I've loaned it to my friend.
You're
a
never
year
getting
and a
that
half
back.
ago. I've still not got
Never
it
going to
back
see
yet.
that again.
A year and a half ago, and I've still not got it back yet.
I don't lend anything to anybody anymore unless it's something I just assume I'm not getting back.
Well, basically, this friend I actually know she would have taken care of it, but she moved house twice in the so she may have actually misplaced it. So I can't complain. It was basically my fault. It was my suggestion. So don't do it again.
My video's frozen, so excuse me.
Oh, is that? I thought you were basically just sitting there making that face.
It's happened to it happens to the best of us. Yeah, it's everybody's got one of those. Definitely.
Yeah, it happens.
We
You
lost
remember,
Kelly.
it basically happened to me when my system crashed, and it sort of.
Yeah.
That was when I got a power cut. Literally, the whole power and the stream went out, and I had to go into my phone, link it to
I
my
remember
iPad
that.
so I could link in just so I could end the stream.
Yep, I remember that one.
Standing outside in the dark. Because
that was funny.
I basically had to stand out in the dark because it was complete pitch black, so nobody could see me.
Wow.
It was a nightmare.
The things we do. The things we do.
Yes.
I actually
Shelley, that's
gave,
what it was. Thank you, Melvin.
I gave in the other day, and I actually started and tried to watch Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
It's very brave of you.
I will
draw your as long as you don't think it's Star Trek, it actually is okay.
I will draw your attention to my phrasing there. I tried to watch.
Oh, I'm no longer Paul Lind.
I loved him. He was so sarcastic.
Yeah.
Oh, he was hilarious. I loved him as Uncle Arthur too.
Oh, I was going. He was the uncle. He was.
Yeah.
I think he was
Uncle
both.
Arthur,
Yeah, and wasn't he also the Hooded Claw?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't
I think he
know.
was the voice of the Hooded Claw.
The voice? I didn't realise.
Yeah, I think he was the voice of the Hooded Claw in Penelope Pitstop.
With Penelope Pitstop, he could have been.
Oh, that's about right, timing wise. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was him.
I don't know what a Penelope Pitstop is.
Yeah, Wacky
Spin-off
Races.
from Wacky Races.
Remember Wacky Races?
Season 7.
Remember Wacky Races? Yeah,
Cartoons?
Master Lane Muttley.
Get
Oh,
the
right.
pigeon.
The
Get
dog,
the
right? With
pigeon.
goggles.
Yeah, Dastardly and Muttley.
A vague impression at
Oh,
best.
it was gold. It was
Young
absolutely
Also a
Yes.
gold.
spin-off as well, didn't it? Yes. Yes.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love
because you
the
had a
Wacky
Peter
Races. You
Perfect,
watched
you
Yeah.
had the Anthill
We
Mob,
loved them. Yeah. They were great. They were all
Professor
brilliant.
Pendleton.
I feel like Tennessee Tuxedo.
Well, apparently
Oh.
there's another chap I watch. I don't know if anyone else watches Gobby Guy.
Yes.
But
Mhm.
he's had to change his
Avatar.
avatar
Yeah,
because
several times.
someone reported it to Hanna-Barbera because it looks so much like one of the cavemen characters.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Do you know, I actually got one of my videos that I had uploaded a while back blocked. It had 47,000 views, and then they suddenly blocked it.
Wow.
47,000. It was the one down Periscope, balls to the walls, boys. That's
Yeah.
and 47,000 views, and then it suddenly got blocked in all territories. And I could actually put a dispute in, but they don't tell you why they blocked it.
Right.
So if you're putting a dispute in, what do you say? Well, it was up and nobody had an issue with it, and all the other ones are up and nobody's got an issue with. Does that mean they're going to take all the other ones down? You see what I mean? 47,000 views, and then it basically got blocked. It was one of the, I think it was my fourth most popular video on my channel. Although, as of next week, I think it's next week. Let's see, just double check the dates on this. It is as of the first episode is on the 23rd of January. 12 episodes of Flash Gordon Conquers the Universe. I
By the way,
managed to upload every single chapter.
Was that the first one or the second one? Because I think
It's the second one. He's
I was gonna
returning
say-
to Mongo. He's returning to Mongo. It's
I
not-
think I saw that. And I've got the first one because I think he had two different actresses played Dale.
It probably be this one is basically is his return to Mongo, so they do reference it within it, and it has this Star Wars crawl. It was one of the first times they actually started doing that crawl. So it is, and so not only is it crawl, the guy's reading off it, explaining what's happening as the crawl goes by. 12 episodes, starts the 23rd. 12 days, one chapter a day. So I managed to get them uploaded. I double checked to make sure it was all okay.
Back in the days of the cliffhanger ending where your favourite catch was, okay, watch it again and let's see what the cheat was from last week's cliffhanger
But
ending.
the thing is, I did that because I always remember watching Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers with Buster Crab. And he would fall out the door, and as he's falling to earth, they would go, tune in next week to see the and then you would tune in, and then at the last minute, the other person would fall out the door, but Buck wouldn't. And you're sitting there thinking, that was a cheat. This one, I was looking for it, and there wasn't. It started as it finished off, and it's like, for instance, they fall down a pit, and you see the two of them falling down the pit, because I thought when the guy get pushed down the pit, Flash wouldn't have gone down with them, but the two of them do. But as they're falling out the pit, and when it stops, the next couple of seconds, he grabs a hold of something and stops himself falling where the other guy falls. So they don't cheat their way out of it. They don't actually change that part from when the last one. But I remember that in the Buck Rogers, they always used to have a cliffhanger ending where Buck's dying. And then the next week when it started, it changed how it finished. And you're sitting there thinking, cheating. But can't complain. So
yeah,
I like Flash Gordon.
Yes, Paul Lind, but Paul Lind was the claw. I just checked.
Okay.
By the way, I've got to say, Colin, you mentioned Gobby Guy.
Yeah,
he's been doing some brilliant streams lately. I mean,
I'm a doctor.
Yeah. John the White and him have been doing some streams.
Yeah, I think I've caught all of them actually.
I haven't but I know he's been doing them. I see them on Twitter.
Yeah, they're really worth checking out. They're really kind of.
Yeah,
I remember Duck Dodgers as well.
Yeah.
I love Duck Dodgers.
Yeah, those were fun.
Well, Hey,
Have
hey,
we,
is Garibaldi's household gods?
What?
Bring it back to
Garibaldi,
Babylon.
Babylon 5.
Don't- no,
Garibaldi
is
loved
Garibaldi's household dog.
Daffy
Or
Duck.
Black.
Oh God, I'd forgotten all
Oh,
about
God.
that. Jeez. I just to say, I'm gonna have to go about 10ish because we've got a little bit of a unplanned early start tomorrow. So I've got a couple of bits of geek loot to show for a change. We haven't had any for absolute ages, but then things like Christmas money happen, and oh my God.
Any pizza boxes?
Nope.
Christmas money, aye, I remember that. We used to get that. Although I can't complain, I bought a couple of hats from my Christmas money this year.
Oh,
I did
nice.
get a gift and I bought a couple of hats. One of them was meant to turn up the other day and it didn't. I was gutted. My pork pie still not turned up.
Oh.
I know, absolutely. First pork pie I had, I left it at the airport and lost it. So I bought myself another one that's still not turned up yet. I'm gutted. I'm pure scunnered, Roman.
See, again, I have to fight past
I'm giving him
the
homework.
accent to figure out what we're saying.
Scunnered.
With a SK?
Sounds like
SC
Leonard
Scunnered.
Skinner.
Sounds a bit like something from Super Gran.
Well, Super Gran is Scottish. Scunnered.
Yeah.
Oh, what does that
Skitter?
mean?
I don't know.
Shooty? Wait. Scooby?
Aye, if you've not got a Scooby,
Stone?
Is it a okay, never mind.
Scud?
Scud is in the buff. That's if you're in the Scud. Scunner.
Scud the missile.
Scun. It's ISCUN. Scunnered.
He's making words up.
Do we need a
Skittery.
Scottish English dictionary?
A Scottish patois, I think.
The latter.
See, the problem is me understanding what PJ is saying versus what I'm trying to read. And it makes it very hard. It's not your fault.
Yeah, I'm speaking in Scottish. He's reading English.
It's not
That's when it fails, Roman. I'm speaking Scottish. You're listening to it in English and in American and try to read it in English.
It's not going well. It's not going well.
I'll dig out my copy.
Skittery? Scoosh?
Scunner.
He keeps saying the word, but I still don't know what he's saying.
Right.
Scunner?
Scunner, yes.
No, I'm saying it, but I don't know what I'm saying.
Right, look. I've got
Yeah. What page? What page are you on?
Right.
Melvin said Scud is also to hit, and it's a name for cheap booze.
So now we know what the SAS were doing in the Iraqi desert in 1991. They were sending out patrols to keep them cheap booze.
I remember the Scud Stud.
Having a Wahhabi Dubby do so.
But Melvin says, but in the Scud means naked.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Now, what kind of naked? Is it naked or naked? Because when people are naked, there's not
a Scuddy book is a pornographic magazine.
Yeah, that's right. A Scuddy book.
Yeah, there is.
What about a Scabby Aggie?
That's got quite a.
Tell them what a Scabby Aggie is.
What?
Scabby Aggie?
Let me guess, a naked older woman. Like Google.
Somebody goes to Texas A&M.
Oh, here, I found it. Scabby Aggie, an abusive name, particularly among school children, for any female considered unclean.
Ew.
Don't tell us you have the Dave sit next to that Scabby Aggie.
Aye.
That was pretty good.
I'm not sitting next to Scabby Aggie. Bugger that.
Oh, God.
You've also got right below it. Try that one, Roman.
Scabby Touch. Used in a children's game like Tig. I don't know what Tig is.
Tig is tag.
Okay.
Tag.
See, it's like a twofer there. The difference is that it can begin spontaneously, as when someone is judged to have come in contact with something disgusting. He is then told he has the scabby touch and is obligated to touch someone else in order to pass it on and free himself from the vile contagion.
Yeah. So basically, like, if you come in and you've got a cold and somebody sees you coughing into your hand, they go, he's got the scabby touch. You go,
Scabby touch.
It's now my scabby touch is passed to you.
We used to say somebody had cooties.
Cooties.
Cooties. Yeah, remember cooties? Remember the game, Cootie?
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, I had that.
We had a game that I think most people call like keep away or, oh God, it's not dodgeball. We called it Salugi. It's a New York thing.
No, I wasn't familiar with that one.
Well,
Dodgeball, I was familiar with.
Thing or the city thing. I don't know, but we called it Salugi, and it was like a form of dodgeball.
Yeah, dodgeball was when you got you turned up in gym class, and if you were a nerd, you were dead. Basically,
yes, you were getting a beating.
Like, don't hit me in the glasses on. And back then they were glass glasses. My father will kill me if you break my glasses.
Thank God they never combined dodgeball with like bocce. They would just gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, or
I'll get you scabby abby. And then you Lipton's orphan.
Yeah. I'm looking for Scunner. It's Scunner. I don't know if it's in this book.
See,
right.
I don't think it was.
By the way, in my school the saying was you've got the mange.
Aye, the mange.
The mange.
In Wales, it's Wales, it's Minger.
Because basically it was a women thing.
Scunner, a strong dislike. Feel disgust or strong dislike.
It's a Scunner. Ugh.
In Wales, it's mingin or.
See, this is funny. The word
she's a minger.
Peaver sounds like something it's not.
A peaver. It's
another name for hopscotch, or a stone, or a flattened rock that could be kicked around in a game. Now, if you're saying peaver here, you're not getting that. You're getting a very different reaction. You want to go play peaver? No.
But see, you're playing peaver. What you're doing is playing puck. It's a hockey puck. I think a peaver is like a hockey puck.
Oh.
So, like, if
That's
you're
not
playing
what I think of when I hear peaver.
If you're playing hopscotch, you throw your peaver up to see what number it lands in. That's the number you have to avoid as you're hopping up the.
That sounds like Potsy.
See, here's another one that sounds terrible but isn't. It's an Ori boat. A local term meaning a rowboat. Now, what my ear hears, however, it means an entirely different thing. If this boat's a rocking, that's what I hear when I'm.
An Ori boat.
Hail to
boat, don't you? Being a sailor, you know it's called why it's called an Ori boat.
I do.
Hey Jay.
It's just so weird. Kipper's knickers is the equivalent to the bee's knees. I may actually start using that.
Okay, that's a good one. I like that. Kipper's Snickers. I like it.
My children may be. Oh Lord. This is so funny because again, this sounds terrible, but it isn't. It's whores knickers. HOORS. Whores knickers. And this is a weird one, a disparaging term for Austrian blinds.
Okay. Roman, you're mispronouncing that. You're mispronouncing it. You're pronouncing it the American way. It's not horse, it's whores.
Who's
As if up and down like that.
Do you know why they call Venetian blinds whores knickers?
Because they go up and down like
they can go up and down as often as you like.
And what's the difference between Austrian blinds and Venetian blinds?
We don't love them Venetian blinds.
The Venetians aren't whores.
Venetian blinds are underwater.
So you call them Austrian blinds and we call them Venetian blinds.
Aye, the Venetian blinds is the ones that go up. You pull the cord and it goes up, and the other ones is the ones that rotate. But a Venetian blinds is a whore's knicker. A whore's knickers is up and down like a whore's knickers.
I love that one so much. I think that's my favorite. I came across that one earlier, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to find this one. And of course, then I couldn't find it. I felt like a schmuck. There was the one thing that I shared with you earlier that I thought was a funny saying, if I can find it again. A blind man running for a bus wouldn't notice. I like that. It pretty much says what it means. Said jocularly of something that could be considered good enough to pass a cursory inspection.
Yeah.
Like most of the shows I do, a blind man running for a bus wouldn't notice. They're fine. Okay.
New York inflection there, Roman.
I'm doing my best. Everyone made fun of my accent when I had my Doctor Who show. No one liked my Doctor Who companion. They thought his accent was off. I thought it was very good. But a blind man running for a bus wouldn't notice.
I like that one.
Never boil your ma's cabbages twice.
What?
That's how I feel.
See that again?
I'm trying to
I
invoke
prefer
my
not
inner
to boil
PJ.
cabbages
My
or corn
Manuel
flakes.
impression. Okay?
Sorry, what was the word?
No, I'll read it in my language. Never boil ma's cabbages twice.
I never boil my ma's cabbages twice.
I have no intention of repeating myself.
You will if you eat too much cabbage.
See,
This is another great one.
Next to you if you ate too many cabbage. Just saying.
I'm melting away to a greasy spot. I'm melting away to a greasy spot.
It's
I'm
hot.
far too hot or overworked.
Well, that makes sense.
I like that one.
Basically, aye, so during the summer, I melt away a greasy spot. Basically, you can see me.
Sometimes in summer, yes. When I'm complaining that the studio of the Empire, that would be the saying.
There
we'll
is
do one
some
more.
ones that are very, very similar to the English rhyming slang, like cowed and
Yes.
beef. Cowed and
What?
beef. I nearly broke my cowed and beef nut toffee.
Huh?
Oh, taste.
Cowed and beef teeth.
Oh,
Oh.
Cowed and
See,
beef's an area in Glasgow.
it's still hard to get the exact enunciation down for each of these.
It could be worse. At least none of the two of us has got a coo's arse.
A what?
A coo's arse.
Good Lord.
Okay.
Well, was it Kelly? Would you say you?
Was that a
you've
whore's
been,
ass or a
you said
whore's
you've
ass?
just been watching. You've been watching. Damn it, the vet.
Oh, there it
I forgot
is.
what it's called.
I found Coors ass.
You mean like
There
the-
had to be a better way to say that. Less excited,
Coo.
perhaps.
It's coo.
Coos, COOS, CO apostrophe S, ours. Coors,
All creatures great small. Thank you. I forgot what it was called. They do that a
a
lot. I
term
think in all
used to
creatures great
describe
small.
any messed or botched job. And then they like to they give you like an example sentence. And some of these are easier, some of them are not. Whoever hung this wallpaper made a cool's ass of it.
I'll translate for the Scottish in the audience. Whoever hung that wallpaper made a coo's arse of it.
Doing
See, as I'm
Spanish.
saying, Roman,
DJ doing
our
Roman
two
doing
channels, we don't make a coo's arse. So that would be a complimentary.
Oh,
And
Oh,
for
dear.
those who have just tuned in, welcome to Learning Glass Region with Roman of the Empire.
like two plums in a wet paper bag. Like two plums in a wet paper bag. An appreciative sorry, an appreciative description made by a male as he views an attractive female. I don't know that sounds that, but yeah, I get it. Like two plums in a wet paper bag. Oh my. Also a phrase that it would be likened to would be like two puppies fighting under a blanket.
Oh my.
Well, it's the same idea, Roman. There's also the one that if she's selling puppies, I'll have the one with the big red nose.
Wait, that might actually be in here. If
God,
Try
this is great.
puppies.
No, that's not a direct correlation.
Just try puppies. It gives you an idea.
Poppies like the flower?
Puppy.
Puppies like
as in
dogs.
dog. A puppy.
Pump, puggy, puffy. No. Oops, hang on. Punny. No puppies.
No puppies.
Unfortunately.
Well, basically, like, if she's selling puppies, I'll have one with a big red nose.
I'll have
They're
what
your,
she's having.
they're your puppies.
Ah,
So if she's selling puppies, I'll have the one with the big red nose. It means your boobs hanging out.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it means one of your boobs is hanging out.
oh
Did you
dear,
see-
that happens. I'll give you one more, and then I'll finish with this because this describes me listening to PJ and Colin talk about D&D. Like a fart in a trance, like a fart in a trance, apply to any distracted or listless person.
Yeah. So when we were talking, Roman looked like a fart in a trance.
It's both funny and
Yeah.
educational.
But there's also a variation on that. See if someone is unwelcome. There's welcome is a fart in a spacesuit.
I've heard that. I've actually heard that.
I can see the applicability there. It works.
It does.
But thank you very much for this, PJ. It's a lot of just really enjoyable, because it's just so weird the things you folks say over there.
Well, as the once great Scottish poet once said, "On yonder hill there stands a queue. It's no there now. It must have shifted."
What's that?
Eloquence, poignance, unintelligible, Scottish.
What does it mean in English?
It means on yonder hill there stood a queue. On yonder hill there stands a cow.
Oh, okay.
It's no there now. It must have shifted.
Oh, okay. Got it.
It's not there now. It must have moved.
It's a cow that wandered off the hill.
Now I get it.
That was a great Hector Nichols one.
Man.
You need to check Hector Nichols out. He's on YouTube. That's somebody. He does some of his good Scottish stuff.
Back in the 80s, there was a TV show called The Story of English. And one of the episodes talked about...
Melvin Bragg, wasn't it?
No, a different one. This one is by Robin O'Neill, who is a Canadian broadcaster who used to be on the US PBS network. And Melvin Bragg did one also, which I've seen too. But this one was like 26 episodes. And after he gave the story of English, he also went around the world and did different kinds of dialects of English, Gullah in South Carolina and Scots. And they had a clip of people in a church in Scotland where the priest, or I guess in this case the pastor, was speaking Scots, not English with a Scottish accent, but actual Scots. It was pretty cool. Some of the episodes are on YouTube.
Yeah. But yeah, Hector Nichols one. It was a very famous Scot. There's obviously Billy Connolly.
I love Billy Connolly.
He's done a lot with it.
Brilliant.
You've got Kevin Bridges now, but it's more toned down. But Hector Nichols is a very body comedian. So his stuff is like, for instance, one of his jokes. It was a simple one. He says, "Doesn't matter if you're German, French, British. If you're in the Euro, European." He would do silly jokes. But I mean, how does a Chinese prostitute get her O level? She lies down.
Oh, God.
Exactly. It was a very body comedian, but he's a very Scottish body comedian. So yes, it wouldn't be politically correct nowadays.
Kind of reminds me. Remember Andrew Dice Clay?
Oh,
Julie?
God.
Oh,
Yeah.
Very politically correct dude.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, it was great. Remember the Jerky Boys?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Oh, they were so hilarious. Completely inappropriate, but completely hilarious.
There you go, Roman. There's Melvin. His mother always says, "You'll no be laughing when you're dead."
I love the sound of
That's
that.
true. I mean, I get that one. That one doesn't even need a translator.
Yeah, but it's
Would it be-
basically,
would it be-
I love the Scottish accent. Sorry, the Scottish dialect. Just for the simple fact is, I've got a habit of when I'm traveling, like when I go down to London and for work, I realise that I'm in London and not in Scotland, so I try and organise my speech without realising. So I try and change what I'm saying.
You adapt.
It's the same as when I'm online. I try and make it more open. But
Right.
a couple of the times the guys from London have come up, the guy that works with me keeps translating what I've said because I'm at home, so I just speak normally.
Relaxing.
Like
Yeah.
talking about breakfast. I said I at least in there the breakfast had totty scones. And the guy's going, and the guy says he's saying potato scones. But a totty scone is what we call it. But I don't think about it when I'm here. I just speak normally. I don't think about monitoring my speech.
So, because it's 10 to 10, should we now ask Wendy to show us what she's got in the nicest
Indeed.
possible taste?
That'd be a better way to say that, Colin.
Beg your pardon.
Yeah, you might want to reword that, Colin.
Right.
No,
Well,
Roman is
you know,
famous.
because Wen needs to leave shortly.
Well,
Exactly.
Roman's got a bounce as well. So I
Right,
don't
so
know.
what-
What have you got, Roman? Have you
Right,
got
hold
like a lot?
Pick of the week.
Here, aside from my,
If you want to go ahead.
let me grab these real fast. I'll be very, very quick. They're right behind me.
Okay.
Right. Well, anybody else get anything for coming up after Roman?
I got
Oh my god, I'm in so much pain. All right, I'm back.
my
So,
charity shop was very full of stuff.
So we have from the What If series, which on its own wasn't great, but from that you got Marvel Zombies. So we have a zombie
okay.
Scarlet Witch and a zombie Iron Man, which I have
Yeah.
not. I haven't
Wow.
broken these guys open yet, but they are in the same vein as I think I shared this with you guys a while back as my zombie Captain America.
Yeah.
So they're very
That's
similar.
cool.
I think I said, just haven't done the
Roman.
unboxing yet, but we're going to get there. So those are the new fun items that I want to show off, aside from, you know, the fantastic book I got from PJ, so that when I am lost in Glasgow, I am sure to be beaten to death by an angry mob.
Yeah, Roman. There's no W at the end of it. It's
Glasgow.
Glasgow.
Oh.
Or if you want to be, it's Glasgow.
Glasgow.
I can't say
No,
that.
not Glasgow. Glasgow. Glasgow.
Glasgow?
Glasgow.
Forget about it.
That's not the same
Forget
word.
about it.
Don't go to Scotland.
So
But,
anyway,
Roman,
that's just my little bits of
a
stuff.
quick
that
question.
I,
A wee quick question regarding the Scarlet Witch.
yes.
Do you like the newer that outfit compared to the red she used
Oh, compared to
do?
classic Scarlet Witch, this one is this one's more let's call it user friendly. The other one looks really cool, but as far as a practical suit goes, and I know superhero stuff in comic books, I would rather see the other suit.
Mm-hmm.
In a movie, I don't know how well that would translate. If they did it correctly, it might be able to work. It's just hard to say. Like I said, because most of the other superhero costumes, they were able to. I mean, Iron Man, you didn't have to do anything with. His suit is his suit. But you had to make minor adjustments with like Cap's suit and things to make it a more practical, usable suit while still retaining the original intent. You know that's Captain America without having to wonder. Scarlet Witch, on the other hand, you wouldn't necessarily know it was Scarlet Witch. I had the other figure up on.
The reason I was asking is my
about
daughter
there
actually
somewhere.
cosplay as Scarlet Witch a few years ago, and she the only difference was she put a pair of jeans shorts on, and it actually brought the costume together. So it updated it, so she didn't start about with a unitard or whatever. It was just the red outfit with the cape and the crown, as it were.
Yeah.
With a pair of jeans, and it actually worked. So
Still worked.
I think actually I can see what they brought out. I mean, I think Marvel Zombies is quite appropriate since Disney pretty much killed the franchise anyway. So
yeah, they did. I mean, that wasn't actually. I mean, the Marvel Zombie story, aside from Disney's participation in destroying the franchise, is an older story that's been around for a long time. I have the hardback of the comic books. So they're going to be putting out an animated series with like a full animated series, not just the what if of this story. I think it'll be fun. I know it's goofy, but I still enjoy it. So
that's the thing. With a comic book, you can do goofy, but in animation you can do goofy, but in live action, goofy doesn't really work well.
It doesn't necessarily translate, right? Some things are better on the page, and just don't make the leap. And especially when you know all the agenda driven stuff, but that's that aside.
Yeah.
But yeah, the suit itself looks better in the comic book. Like I said, I don't know if you could pull that suit off in a lot with a live version of it. I don't know. Maybe I've never seen it, so I don't know. Actually, no, that's not true. We saw it in WandaVision. We saw the version of it, and of course, I
haven't seen WandaVision.
What was that?
Yeah, but do you think WandaVision they did the typical? They actually deliberately made it look off
goofy. They probably did because they made Vision look goofy as well when they did their almost comic accurate versions. Who's to say? We'll never actually probably see it, so it's not something we really need to worry too much about. But anyway, Wendy, what do you got?
Show us what you got.
Well, who I don't know if anybody's going to know this, but who remembers Ratfink?
Yeah,
Ratfink. Oh God, yes.
Oh yay! Okay.
Ratfink.
Yeah, Ratfink. I did a little digging back because I was trying to sort of hone my own memory of where Ratfink originally came from. And for anybody that doesn't know what it is, it's one of several hot rod characters created by artist Ed, quote, Big Daddy Roth, one of the originators of custom culture of automobile enthusiasts. So this came out of the automobile customization culture, and it was basically conceived to be the antithesis to Mickey Mouse. So he's like really ugly and he's really like monstrous looking, and he PC. Yeah, and he was very much the anti-hero, to Mickey Mouse. And his character became so popular that he started selling T-shirts, and then and he had other monsters that he did as well that he drew. So it just became really popular, and it was something that I really remember very, very vividly from my childhood. So if I put my camera on,
who's Ratfink Boo Boo?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, there was a movie in the 60s, Ratfink Boo. Oh my God!
Look at
it!
The soda cans are cool, aren't they? The figures
I know, they're
great.
so cool. They're so cool. And he is, I got this at a place called, what's it called? Nerd Nook. Not too far from us. And it's not, I hadn't seen a pink one yet. I haven't got any other Ratfink stuff, and now I'm completely obsessed again, and I need to get more. But basically, I have opened this. But
there's a drink in
it's got it's got like a little
Ratfink. That is ugly.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, and I just loved Ratfink. And it's they did 3,000. They did 3,500 of them, and they reckon that. And I don't know if that means I have number one or I have the one of 2,900.
I always thought that was you've got number one. However,
I don't think it is. Yeah, I think it's 2,900 of the 3,500. But
I've got some of mine here, and I've got a couple of. Right, so my Godzilla is one of 6,000. So I don't think so, because otherwise we're all getting number ones and nobody's getting anything else. And this is my sloth, and my sloth is one of 4,000. So I think it just means you've got one off.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
because I've not come across any of them.
I've never seen him. Yeah, I've never seen him in pink. He's always in either green or gray. But
Oh,
I
fun.
mean, he's just so much fun. He's so much fun.
Oh, that's
And I can remember this.
adorable.
And-
I love
love
the soda Funkos. They are just so.
He's just
they basically overwrite. See, with the Funkos, you've got the big head, and I like the Funkos. However, the soda Funkos are better.
I'm in love with the soda Funkos. Yeah, I am definitely getting more of these when I
I've
can.
got Snake Plissken, I've got Godzilla, Frankenstein, Sloth.
Oh, the Godzilla one I want so much. You know what they also had? They had Vince Clortho. I was dying to get Vince Clortho, but I just didn't. I couldn't quite swing too much more. But it was that one is my absolute favorite thing that I got with some Christmas money. But Darren also had some Christmas money as well, and he picked up some great stuff that we've been wanting for ages from Amazon. But very quickly, first is the wonderful Alex, Mr. AWK, very kindly, and we're just so completely, impressed and grateful, sent us this, which is Jerry Anderson's 4 Feather Falls Supercar and Fireball XL5. And it's the Blu-ray, and it's got special features on it and things like that. So we're looking forward to watching this, but we want to be able to watch it when we definitely have time to really sit down and really have a good look at it. So that's going to be something we're looking forward to watching. And he got Salem's Lot.
Very nice.
Oh, nice.
Which I can't believe we actually didn't already have, but we just watched it again the other day when it came, and it was just as good as I remember. Love this film. And this one had to be added because this is an all-time favorite.
The Thing.
So he got the Thing Blu-ray.
What's two? Why are there two?
Two movie box set, because you'll have The Thing from Another World.
Yeah, this one has got oh no, this is actually the 2011 prequel that they did. Which whatever. But but the 1982 The Thing is like one of my all-time favorite movies, and both of us love it. It's just so good. It's so good.
Every moment of that movie is fantastic.
Right,
it is.
There you go. There's a thing. Colin, there was a Batfink, but he wasn't in the Batman universe. Or if he was, because there was in the tick there was Batman Well, but you also had Batfink, which was a kids cartoon. He used to basically have his cape. My wings are like a shield of steel. Batfink, remember? It was basically a take on Batman.
Yeah, I think I vaguely remember Batfink, and I'm thinking.
Well, Darren remembered Batfink because when I brought that home, he was like, "Did you say Ratfink or Batfink?" And I was like, "No, Ratfink." But he said there is a Batfink, and he looked it up earlier tonight. Actually, I can't remember what he said now, but he said there's definitely was a Batfink.
Yeah,
but a totally different character.
Variation. It was a kids cartoon based on Batman. So
yeah,
you had Batfink, and anytime you would shoot him, he'd put his wings up, and my wings are like a shield of steel. And that was the thing. It was that type of thing. So,
I've got 3 more. I've got 3 more. So if you want to see those.
Yep.
Just things that we've been wanting to get. So he picked up that, which is Quatermass in the Pit.
Oh, that is a cool movie.
That is a great film.
I love Quatermass in the Pit.
Quatermass in the Pit. Yeah, absolute classic. And then he's got there was 2. There was the film, and then he got the series.
Oh, interesting.
The series as well, which I haven't seen. The series, I don't think.
I saw that sometime around the time in the early 70s when I was watching the Tomorrow People
series.
I think I saw it, but I
can't
remember too much because the movie just actually supersedes it. Anytime I think about Quatermass, it's the scene with the wee guy getting covered with rocks in the subway, and they basically they're all standing. He's chased them down alleyways.
Take care, Grandma.
So
And that was the only other thing. Was we started watching this tonight.
Oh, how is it?
It's excellent, and the
And that art
restoration
is so
job
good.
and the
That's beautiful.
restoration job they did on this
I bought that too.
is so good.
Oh, good to
It's
hear.
really, really good. So yeah, so that was it. That was just
Yay.
some Christmas loot and this wonderful gift from Alex. So thank you very much.
No problem.
very good, very nice.
Yeah, gotta put my one thing with Ratfink was the reason why it kind of like just brings back so many memories for me is back when I was growing up, they had these like kids like gumball machines. You know, the ones that you would get the prize out of, like it would be like a little mystery prize or something. It would be like in a little plastic egg, and you'd beg your parents for money, and they'd be like grocery shopping. You'd be like, I want to go get something out of the gumball machine, you know? And it, inevitably, there would be like this little plastic Ratfink thingy in there. And it just brought back so many memories. And when I was in the shop the other day, I think he thought I was a little bit like off my head because I basically like grabbed it off the shelf like, that's mine. It's just so cool. I'm just so chuffed with that.
Yeah, I love the soda Funkos.
Yeah, I
they
like
are
those
absolutely
better than
cool.
the regular Funkos, if I'm honest.
They actually look a lot better, I must admit. I love my Ash one, my stick. Basically, I've got them all up my shelf there, and I do like them all. I've even got a Stan Lee one, which is cool.
Fantastic.
That's cool.
Yeah. Right. So,
Okay,
if you two got to bounce, I understand.
Night, Roman.
Sorry. Thanks
No,
for being
no,
out.
Roman.
Everybody. This was
Take care, Roman.
And
it was
remember,
fun coming back in after the new year, getting to chat with everyone, and getting to read from that fantastic book.
yeah,
That
and
needs a
remember,
whole
if you
stream
are
of just
around
Roman
on
reading
Wednesday,
that book
we're
out
talking
loud.
Tank Girl.
Oh, Tank Girl is this week
Yes.
on Wednesday.
Yeah.
The
Tank
day
Girl
after
on
Tuesday,
Wednesday.
the day before Thursday. All right, I'll see. I think I did better at not overextending this week. I'm on a show tomorrow night as well over on Comic and Cosmetics at 5. No, 5? Yes, 5 Pacific Standard.
Or 1
and that
a.m.
one,
1 a.m. for most people here.
yeah, so again, for you guys. And then we might be doing Mixtape Mondays, but I'm not sure. And then Thursday, for sure, we are doing, again, 5 Pacific Standard. We're doing a show on Coen Brothers films, specifically highlighting Fargo, The Big Lebowski, and probably True Grit. We'll have to see how far we get into it. But
how fun.
that's what's coming
When
up.
you're
So,
saying True Grit, are you talking about the proper one or the remake?
I actually like the remake a lot. I find that both films have a lot of merit to them. It's surprising when you get a remake and it is, to me, as good as the original. No, it's not John Wayne.
It does
But,
happen, but
man,
Yeah, the only thing I
um,
didn't like about it, apart from it was the fact that they made Rooster a bit of a drunk.
Rooster was a bit of a drunk in the first one. He was more of a drunk in this one, though.
Yeah, it basically made him over the top drunk. It's just, that was the only criticism I had about it. So
I thought it was okay. I thought it was, of course, I thought it added probably a more realistic element to the character of Rooster Cogburn. I like it. Everything's dirty and just it has a more organic, lived-in feel. But I really do like the first one as well. I can't take anything away from it. Like I said, it was a really good movie. So,
like hell, you can't.
look at that. All right, guys. On that note, I am off, and I will all see you soon around the interwebs. Have a fantastic day. Thank you for letting me be here.
No
Take
problem.
care,
Catch you
Roman.
again.
Take care,
Ta-ra.
Roman.
You're like,
Right,
Right,
when
I'm
you
gonna-
got to bounce as well.
I'm going to have to bounce as well, unfortunately. But thanks, everybody. Absolutely fantastic time, as always. Thanks to everybody in the chat as well. And I will, again, I will see you guys on the interwebs as well. Catch me on Twitter at Wendology or at HorrorChick65. And the B-Movie Cinema Show is going to be starting up again. We have some films that are just going to be shown and then we'll be in the chat, but then we're going to resume our recording of the B-Movie Cinema Show with sort of live commentary, if you will, from February. So we're looking forward to that.
Ideal. Looking
So
forward
cool.
to it.
So, yep. Take care, everybody.
When
Cheers,
Take
Wendy.
care, Wendy.
Yeah.
Cheers,
Night,
Wendy.
all. Take
Bye.
care.
Hi, Wendy.
Right. Now number
Can I
5.
show a few things?
Right.
I've got?
Alec, up you go.
Okay. I know I showed you this ages ago. But this is what I got for Christmas.
very nice.
Stingray. Stingray.
As it was my birthday a couple of days ago, I decided to treat myself on 2 items, but one of them is still in transit at the moment. But one of them arrived. Sweeney 2.
The Sweeney. Is that the
one of
movie?
That's the second film.
The second one.
Yeah, which is bloody good.
I can't remember if I've seen the movies. I may have seen them on TV, but I just remember the TV show, and I just loved that.
And for a ridiculous Christmas present from my family, which I told you about, I am going to have joyous funds with a bloody label printer, am I?
So he basically wants to post things out so he can print labels.
Yeah, but I wanted to make an investment into it out of my own cash, but I got it for a Christmas present and I went, a bloody label printer.
You know?
Where's the novelty?
If you're not a novelty label printer, paint some teeth on it. It looks like it's got teeth. Paint it up so it looks like it's got teeth. Like a monster label printer.
But very good. Right. So you're very quiet. It's very quiet.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. It could have been just as you were leaning forward, you came away from the mic, and that's all it could have been.
What about now?
Yep, that's perfect.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. So, anybody else get anything? Right.
I do. I also bought the first Doctor second set, but that arrived well before Christmas. This I bought. Yes, I did not buy it at the party shop. I bought it paid full price. Christmas in Connecticut. It's a screwball comedy from the 1940s about with Barbara Stanwyck, Dennis Morgan, Sidney Greenstreet, and it's one of my all-time favorite movies. My dad and I used to watch it together at Christmas. So since Dad's not around anymore, I needed to own it.
Yep. I quite agree with those sentiments. I'm the same with White Christmas.
Okay, exactly.
Yeah.
Then I bought this because this is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. I went with a friend of mine and we laughed so hard that people gave us dirty looks.
Yeah. Do you know apart from Anchorman, I've never liked Will Ferrell. The only thing I like him in is Anchorman. That's it.
Hysterical.
It's just been because I don't like him as a. It's like Catherine Tate. I don't like Catherine Tate in anything. So even when she's in Doctor Who, I just never liked Catherine Tate. So it was always sing me. Anchorman is the only one thing I've liked Will Ferrell in. Yet there's been a load of other things I thought, oh, this will be good because it's the same old type of comedy, but it never, because he's in it, it just, I don't know, it comes across as that persona.
Understand completely, but this movie is, in my not so humble opinion, pee in your pants funny.
You need to actually check it out then.
Olympic ice skating and...
Big Torvill Dean fan.
Pardon?
I'm a big Torvill Dean fan.
Okay, well, this is Will Ferrell and Josh Hader, who were both solo skaters in the men's division, and for a variety of reasons, they join up to be in the pairs division.
I think it's because they don't get selected. Is that correct for the men?
They do something stupid and end up saying, well, if we can't be solo skaters, we'll be pair skaters, because it doesn't say you have to be a man and a woman.
Oh, and so it's a movie for 2023 then?
Yeah. No, but it's hilarious. Then I bought, and these are all, except for Christmas in Connecticut, these are all from the charity shop. This is one of my favorites. Big Fat Greek Wedding. I love this movie dearly. Absolutely love it.
Excellent.
This is another movie that I love. The British version, the original, not the American garbage version. This is the original. The one with Matthew McFadden and
Yeah.
Lee Hawes and
See, I'm with you. See, when they do a remake and across the pond, I always like the British version first, but it also works the other way. So if you've got a movie, it was an American movie, and then they try and remake it over here, I always prefer the original American movie.
Oh yeah,
because when they try and change the culture references, it just does not work.
I'm like that with Fever Pitch. I'm not a soccer/football fan, but I liked the movie Fever Pitch, the British version with Colin Firth and Gemma somebody or other. And I don't like the American version that much with Drew Barrymore and Jimmy Fallon. Just didn't love it.
Yeah.
Okay, then I've been wanting these for a while. Shrek 1, Shrek 2.
Can't complain. You've got a Scotsman. Well, actually, no, we've got an Englishman playing a Scottish voice.
Anglo-Canadian, but, you know, whatever. Then, it's funny because remember they said the other week that I tried to get Despicable Me and the box was empty. Well,
yes.
I found Despicable Me, the DVD.
That's a Blu-ray.
And yes, and there is a disc in there. And then Despicable Me 2, both of them with mini movie collections. And then the pièce de résistance, which is a very girly thing. So, sorry guys, Legally Blonde.
I'm seeing nothing. I've got them in my collection. My wife loves them. We've even seen the show. We've seen the show.
Oh my gosh, that I haven't seen. But this one is both movies, the original and the second movie. It also comes with a feather pen. This is all from the charity shop. And Elle's diary. And magnets. It was all like $3.99.
Yeah, that's ideal because I've seen it. I've seen it on stage. Fair enough. It was my nephew's theatre group. It was doing it.
Oh,
but
okay.
We drove down to the Borders just to watch it, and we quite enjoyed it.
And then it's funny because the second movie was open. The first movie is still sealed. So I don't know.
Very good.
But anyway, I saw this and I absolutely had to have it.
Yeah.
And the box is wonderful.
Well, that's ideal as long as the box is actually in perfect condition.
It was totally perfect condition. But anyway, yeah, so I had a pretty good haul at Christmas. All for less than $20.
Yep. I agree with Melvin there. Melissa McCartney can't be bothered with. Jack Black, hate. Catherine Tate, hate. And Cillian Murphy, I don't know who that is. So
Cillian Murphy is in what's the name of that show? Peaky Blinders.
I've never seen that.
I haven't either.
I think I can picture the guy. I've seen something, but,
the only thing I've ever seen Cillian Murphy in is Did
he play the Scarecrow in one of the Batman movies?
He did, yeah. Batman Begins, yeah.
He was in
I'm going to have to take umbrage with Jim the Viking.
Oh yeah, what do you say?
Scottish are always like onions. They always make you cry. Oi.
Cillian Murphy, the only thing I ever saw him in was an adaptation of an Anthony Trollope novel, and it was awful. It was the worst, possibly the worst adaptation of any novel I've ever seen. It's terrible.
Yeah. I've not seen it. I think I've seen Shrek 2. I'm not sure I've seen the book. I think one of my favourite scenes in Shrek 2 is a perfect example of be careful what you ask for.
Mm-hmm.
Towards the end, when Jennifer Saunders decides to think that she is Bonnie Tyler, she breaks out into holding out for a hero.
Yeah, I like the Shrek. I know Shrek 3 is not very popular.
She does it. I mean, I don't know if it is Jennifer Saunders singing or not, but she does the song justice. She really does. But she did that, and then there's Shrek breaking in to rescue Fiona, of course. You know, I think you got to be
Yeah.
careful what you ask for.
Anyway,
So-
Cillian Murphy played, and he's when he was younger, he had more feminine features, and he's playing a character who is sort of like a wildcatter in the Southwest U.S. trying to get rich on oil, and he just did not look the part. He looked way
Right.
too effeminate and weak. It was not good.
Yeah, I've looked
Yeah.
up. I've seen his picture, but I know who he is. But yeah, to
No, it's
me,
terrible.
he's bland. I've never noticed him one way or the other.
I think he's a good actor. Like he, I mean, impressed me in Inception.
Okay, haven't seen that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
Inception.
can't remember him, so he's obviously not made an impact one way or the other with me. So
Was Jack Black in Jumanji?
yes,
So
I think I did like those films.
he was in the second Jumanji one. Remember, he was the one who was the girl in the body, the fat body.
Yeah, because I think he was in the two remakes, with the two with the Rock and Karen Gillan.
Yeah, that's
Because
the one.
the original one was the original.
The original one was Robin
Robin
Williams.
It was Robin Williams, yeah.
yeah,
and-
Robin Williams in the original. Yeah.
And the second one, you had The Rock, Jack Black,
Karen
Chris-
Gillan.
Karen Gillan.
Karen Gillian, and Chris.
No, it wasn't Chris. No, it was Kevin. What's his name?
The short guy with the beard.
Yeah, I know you're on about it, Kevin.
I thought that was Chris. No, it wasn't Chris Rock. Chris Rock got slapped. That's right. Different one. I can't remember, but I remember it. But no, I hate Jack Black. So I didn't
Kevin
enjoy that
Hart.
at all.
Oh, Kevin Hart.
That's
Yeah.
what it was.
Any of you see The Secret Life of Pets?
No.
Kevin Hart. It was the first time I'd ever, quote unquote, seen him in a movie. And he voices a fluffy bunny rabbit. And it's just total cognitive dissonance. This cute little fluffy bunny is this foul-mouthed, like, mob boss. It's hilarious.
Superb. Right, I'm going to do my pick.
Oh, good.
Actually, and I've not got my hats for Christmas. They're through hanging up. I use them, believe it or not. The other thing I got for my Christmas was that the Bruins and Urwally, the 1960s revision.
Oh,
Basically,
wow.
it's not a comic book. It's basically newspaper cartoon, and then it became the books you would get every year. I would pick up the Bruins or Urwally as the comic strip. So I got that for my Christmas, which I'm very happy with. I do love the Bruins stuff, and I love Urwally. Very Scottish. You've got Eck as one of the characters in it. So, and I picked up a few. I actually picked this up today because I've decided I'm going to actually start doing my jigsaws because I've got a load of them. And because I've never got a space to do my jigsaws, or when I have got a space, it's a case of, right, dinner's out, get the table cleared. So I've decided to get one of these, a puzzle mat, so I can actually do my jigsaws, roll it up out the way, and still without having to break it up every single time. So I picked that up. And I got some DVDs. This one, as I showed you before, I picked that one up, First Contact. So I was quite happy with that one. However, remember, I picked that one up at Christmas and somebody had stole the disc. Well, I saw it in the charity shop, and the first thing I did was check that it had the disc in it.
Yep.
So I double checked this one, made sure it had the disc. Then I picked up Avengers Endgame. Believe it or not, I haven't seen this. I stopped watching the modern comic book stuff before Endgame.
It may not bear repeated watching if you think about it too much.
Say again?
It may not bear repeated watching if you think about it too much.
The thing is, I don't take the movies as part of a series.
No,
me,
it's
a standalone. I never think about what the next movie's going to do.
No, it's not so much that. It's one of those things that if you watch it and you actually think through to logical conclusions. There's a lot of things in that particular movie that you think, well, that screwed everything up. That screwed the universe up. That screwed the universe up.
Okay, they do that in every bloody
Yeah.
movie.
Well, yeah.
Everything. But the other one I picked up was that one, Robots. I saw this a while back and I thought that was actually okay for an animation movie, a silly animation movie, but it did the thing. It was just a family of robots which all look different, and Robin Williams played the red one. So he did. So I picked that one up. And the last one I picked up was Russell Crowe and Christian Bale. 3:10 to Yuma.
Oh, I remember that one.
I haven't seen this one, so I'm looking forward to it. I've heard about it, so I'm looking forward to it.
New Zealander and a British person playing characters in the Old West. Love it.
Yeah, speaking about Russell Crowe, I don't know if you've heard that they're doing a sequel to Gladiator.
Yeah.
Yes, I heard that. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That.
Yes, they're basically going to reincarnate him. They're basically going to have another person as another.
No,
gladiator.
it's supposed to be that it's supposed to be his daughter by some female character that was on screen for 30 seconds, just so they can have a strong female lead.
Oh, good
I
God.
thought I'd
I
heard.
don't know.
It'll be one of the gladiators, a female gladiator that he basically talked to, and it'll be his voice in her head saying, "But you can't do it. This is a man thing."
Oh, good God.
Yeah.
So
that was basically,
so
I've
many
had,
rumors going on. Yeah.
that was my pickup from today. And obviously, my Christmas was my hats. One of them's turned up and the other one's away. And the rest of the stuff I got were hampers and sweets, which are all finished. Honest, I'm no diabetic, so I didn't eat all the sweets. But yeah, I've got one or two of the sweets left that I got at Christmas. I got the Brown sweeties. I got odds and ends. It was, people obviously know me. Here you go. Here's food. Here you go. Here's sweeties. Will that make you happy? Uh-huh. Oh, there was one other thing I got for my Christmas. I forgot because I'm using it. So it's a wee cushion. It says gaming in progress, do not disturb, or everything is under control. So I use it for my lumber, which actually makes this chair a wee bit more comfy now. That's why I forgot it, because I'm used to lying back on it.
Okay, Melvin. Good night, Melvin. Oh,
Right, Melvin, thank you for joining us.
right. Scotty, wait. Yes, it's still good night.
Yeah. Narnia books, the same person who gave us Jennings and Derbyshire books. I didn't know that.
I spelled Derbyshire wrong in the books. It's Derbishire.
Derby. Derbyshire.
I think that's how you spell the Shire, with a Y, because Derby's with a Y.
Right, I know that, but in the books, it's Derbishire.
Yeah, so I'm
at a boarding school. And
yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, they're really cute. They're really funny. I actually bought myself the collection of the stories, and they're fun.
Back when people actually
childhood being introduced to them.
Back when people actually wrote books for kids that were for kids and weren't supposed to do anything else but entertain kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My dad used to read us the Wizard of Oz books every night after dinner.
Sorry, the which ones?
Wizard of Oz.
Oh, Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz is my oldest favourite movie. For her 21st, we all got her the golden anniversary edition. It basically was, it took us ages to find it because it was such an old movie, and even then she has about 4 copies of it, and they're all ones like anniversary editions of it.
So is there a warning label on it yet? Cruelty to dwarves.
Cruelty to witches.
Yeah,
exactly. Cruelty to
it's hatest. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, but you know the way it'll go. These it won't be that. It'll be the witch will be an object of racism because she's green and orcs are green, so she's obviously coded as an orc.
Remember Avatar? Remember, people were talking about how
Yeah.
people on Avatar.
Anyway, I've actually got the Wizard of Oz actually on my channel.
Whinging
my
about people playing
my
people of
dad-
colour who were blue. Oh,
My dad's mother had the original books
wow.
from when she was growing up, and she was born in 1905. And she had very early editions of the books because she was the youngest of three, and her older siblings were born in the late 19th century. So they had really early editions of the books.
Oddly enough, sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, and my dad read those early editions to us when we were growing up. And unfortunately, I read them so often myself that I contributed to them disintegrating.
I've just been catching up on the latest season of Murdoch Mysteries, and they've had one in there where Crabtree it is every so often because he's written books, had a couple of books, he keeps running into famous authors, and one of the ones I'm pretty sure he ran across was L. Frank Baum. He also had a kind of fling with damn it, I can't remember what her first name was. Will Montgomery wrote the Anne of Green Gables books.
Oh yeah, I remember when he met her.
And she was actually in the last author-based one where they had one of the characters. Brackenreid struck up a friendship or not with certain Rudyard Kipling.
Okay.
But you had this young kid, aspiring writer. Unfortunately, I think they actually got the manuscript wrong because it turns up and he's got this adventurous Czar. I genuinely can't remember exactly what it's called, but he was pushing this script and he was told it was too fantastic, with superhuman, superhero, and all the rest of it. And of course, the guy eventually tells George his name, and he says, "Well, that's an odd pen name. What's your real name?" And he says, "Burroughs," in which case I went, "You bastard." Burroughs. Edgar Burroughs. Well, my full name's Edgar Rice Burroughs.
What year?
And the thing is, the manuscript he was trying to sell was Tarzan, not Princess of Mars. And Princess of Mars is the first one he actually had published. But yeah.
Murdoch.
Yeah.
Again.
Question: what actor has played Buck Rogers, Tarzan, and Flash Gordon?
Buster Crab.
Buster Crab's played two of them.
Yeah,
Larry Buster Crab. Yeah, he's the only actor that's actually played all three of those. Yeah.
Wasn't Buster Crab an Olympic swimmer?
He was. Well, Johnny Weissmuller was an Olympic swimmer.
It was Johnny Weissmuller. Sorry, my bad.
Johnny Weissmuller is the sound of Tarzan now, but Buster Crab played it first, and his call was just it just screamed. It was Johnny Weissmuller
Carol
actually
Burnett.
made that sound.
I don't know if any of you ever heard Carol Burnett do her Tarzan yell. Oh my God. Because most other Tarzan yells are multiple people's voices merged together.
Oh, right.
Carol Burnett did it on her own. And
my first Tarzan, to be honest, was Ron Eli. It's Doc Savage.
Yeah.
Because I remember him on TV. But Buster Crab.
It was a TV show with Boy or Jai.
Yeah.
And then you had the monkey, which was Cheetah.
Yeah.
I remember Roy Eli's Tarzan on TV, but the first movie Tarzan was definitely Johnny Weissmuller for me.
Right.
Then I saw.
Again, the movie. Yeah. But the thing is, because Buster Crab has also. I've got to work out which way around this was. He has actually played Flash Gordon.
Yep.
Who met Buck Rogers?
No, he played Buck Rogers, who met Gordon.
No, he played Flash Gordon. No, he played Flash Gordon. He played a character called
Century.
Yeah.
He played Commander Gordon.
Yeah,
in Buck Rogers.
I don't care. That was Flash Gordon. I don't care what, because the joke between them was about who was the oldest.
Yeah,
that was.
I was doing this before you were born.
Yeah, I wouldn't be so sure about that. I don't know about that. Yeah, that was the in joke there, of course, was hold on a second, he'd actually played both of them. Yeah.
Right, there's one there. That's the Wizard of Oz, the 1925 silent version.
Wow.
Who played the woodcutter? He was not known as the Tin Man. Who played the
Tin Man
woodcutter?
was a woodcutter.
Yes, but it was only Disney. Not
Was it
Disney, Universal, who changed it to the Tin Man.
Okay. I don't remember what the book was.
He's known as the woodcutter.
I don't remember what the book had.
Right, who played him?
Tilk.
Right.
Jack Haley Jr. or Jack Haley rather played the Tin Man in the new version.
Yes, but in this
version.
Who played him?
That looks like Fatty Arbuckle.
Nope. But you're around the right time and the right girth.
The right girth, yeah. No, who is it?
Oliver Hardy.
No.
Yep. Oliver Hardy is the woodcutter.
Wow. Now that you mention it, I can see it.
Because you look even just that wee bit,
like
right? Just go back a wee bit, right? Just to where he comes in. Watch his movements. You can see him. Watch his movements.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
And of course, the token black guy being scared of his own shadow.
Yeah. But that's on my channel. So if you want to watch that,
right now,
just look up Wizard of Oz on BJ Maybes.
Very cool. Very cool. Very cool.
Some of the older stuff, anytime I've got an old one, I'll rip the DVD and I'll upload it. If it allows me, I'm okay. But
I would imagine that would be public domain at this point.
Yeah, I would have thought so. 1925.
1925, yes. It's the same as the Flash Gordon stuff.
Public domain, unfortunately, for those of us who like old movies.
Yeah, same as the Flash Gordon stuff that I've uploaded as well. They're basically public domain because
I'll have to watch them. I've got the first
yes, I would say to people, go and watch them on my channel. But if you get the chance, go and buy the DVD. Make sure they don't disappear.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. So I always recommend getting the physical media. Yes, I've got them uploaded for people to watch, but get the physical media.
I love buying physical media. I mean, I know that, for example, that Christmas in Connecticut is shown on a U.S. cable channel every year. But, for example, at my parents' house, their cable system doesn't carry it anymore. So even if my dad had been alive, I couldn't have watched it with him. And that's the other reason I bought it, because if I go to mom's house, I can't watch it. So I watch it, but I can watch it when I want to now. And
well, in my collection, just TV shows and movies, I've got 1,600 discs.
Bravo.
And that's not including things like multi-season stuff. So that's just it. So like Stargate has got the 10 seasons, but I've only got it down as one entry.
When all this wokeness baloney started, and that's when I really started buying physical media. I mean, I bought Towns of Wang Chiang because people were whining that there was an Anglo playing an Asian guy. I also bought Planet of the Spiders for the same reason. Yep. Because there's an English guy playing.
My 100 subscriber stream, I had 2 copies of Talent, and I gave one away.
I missed that. So
I had 3 copies. Colin and Alec, I gave your brother a copy.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
So I had 3 copies. One I gave away from my 100 subscribers. One I gave to Alec, and I still got my one there.
Very cool. So I also bought Blazing Saddles because I know that one's going to disappear.
Got that as well, yeah.
And then I bought Gone with the Wind. I thought I owned it already, but it turns out I didn't. I've got the book, but I bought the movie, and I couldn't find a used copy for a decent price. So I bought a new copy. And when I received it, it had a sticker on it saying problematic content. But that means that they didn't go in to the disc itself and talk about the problematic content. So that's good. At least I can rip off the plastic cover and nobody knows it ever said problematic content.
Plus, you took the sticker off, put it in an envelope, and sent it back to them. So it's not required on
Didn't
Roy.
watch it because it had problematic contents on it, and just actually put one of their other movies on it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the reason I'm glad I own Animal House.
Yeah, I've got Animal House. I've got Gone with the Wind. I've got Blazing Saddles. I've got a multiple. I've got Spike Milligan's Curry and Chips, which even I would say is watching it is.
Which movie?
It's a TV show called Curry and Chips.
Don't know it.
So, Spike Milligan.
I know.
It is very, very bad. It's.
Let me look this up. Because also Trading Places is now considered problematic.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Oh, God.
Because there's a blackface scene at the end with Dan Aykroyd, even though he's in the scene with Eddie Murphy.
Yep, and it's meant to be Eddie Murphy. It's actually talked him into doing it.
Okay.
But
I'm glad I own it.
Yeah. And the thing is,
that's context, and context doesn't count anymore.
Context is everything.
Yeah.
So curry what?
Curry and chips.
Curry and chips. Well, that sounds like a decent meal.
Oh, curry and chips is lovely. Chips and curry sauce is even better.
British
curry.
Wow, broadcast in 1969.
Yes, and Spike Milligan plays an Indian in it.
And there's somebody who looks like he's a black guy, Kenny Lynch.
Kenny
Lynch is black.
Kenny is black, yes. And he was a comedian. He was a fantastic comedian.
Great singer.
I don't know if you guys know this, but Lenny Henry is doing commercials here in the States.
Oh, no luck.
No, I'm sorry, not Lenny Henry, Idris Elba.
He's been doing them here. I've seen them on YouTube.
For Booking.com?
Yes, that's the one. He's on the plane and the woman's leaning over. Oh, they do flights as well. I would be sitting there thinking, she's sacked because she's trying to get flights on the other airplanes. You know what I mean? So a air stewardess is actually saying, oh, do you get flights in that? They're cheaper than this. Let me see. I would be sitting there thinking, sacked, because she's effectively telling everybody the plane they're flying on isn't the cheapest.
Julie, when you mentioned Lenny Henry's doing commercials in the United States, I thought...
Yeah, I misspoke. I meant Idris Elba. I around the brain for something else.
No, what I'm trying to say is that, is he doing Premier Inn adverts in the States now?
He did them here.
Yeah.
Booking.com adverts.
Yeah.
If Lenny Henry,
I've seen them, so I have.
Lenny Henry these days only does adverts for something that's going to fail abysmally.
Well, considering actually what he's... Yeah, you think about what he's actually been in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Blood Origins and the Rings of Power.
Rings of Diversity.
Was it that, or was he in Willow?
No, he was in Rings of Diversity
and now he's in Blood Origins.
Bloody Useless Origins.
That's right.
Like I said, two thoroughly and utterly failed. IPs.
And chips.
So by curry and chips, it's the reason I can understand why people think at the time it was just done in tongue in cheek. However, you've got one of the characters playing an Indian, and it is very, very. To me, it's not an issue because I've seen people doing a atypical, stereotypical Scotsman. Hawkeye the new Hootsman wearing a kilt and wearing a tammy, holding the wee cane and Hootsman and all that. I don't find that offensive. I just find that hilarious.
Scots doing
if you're watching an Englishman, they've either got pinstripe suit, bowler hat, carrying an umbrella and a briefcase, or they're flat cap and Icky Thorpe and all that, and it depends where they're saying they're from.
Come on.
The same idea.
Everybody gets stereotyped. I mean,
exactly, but because
in all these World War II movies, New York, the dumb New Yorker with the thick New York Brooklyn accent, who's got the heart of gold, but he's just street smart.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So, but because the stereotype certain
he's street smart.
Because the stereotype certain
It's not here.
demographics, I can understand why people are going, because you've got like 8.5 Hot Mum.
I want to sit while you
There's a lot of Indian characters in it, but one of the main Indian characters early on was a white guy playing the Indian character.
Yeah.
So
guys, I've got to cut out, guys. Sorry, I've got to go.
No problem. Thank you for joining us.
No problem, Sadaku. Take care.
Thanks for having me. Cheers. Bye. Bye now.
Good to see you.
You too. You too, Kelly.
What I used to about an Aina Hot Mum is he's got the belt. He's on his turban. He's got a snake belt.
It's nowhere here, anywhere.
Which I used to have one of those at the time. I think
I used to have a snake belt as well.
Yeah.
The snake belts I loved. I love my snake belt, but you can imagine nowadays people would look at it and go, "Eh."
Well, the thing is, I mean, stereotypes serve a purpose, and they're shorthand.
Of course, so you can identify who they're actually
exactly. You see someone walking around with in a bowler hat and umbrella.
Oh,
it's obviously meant to be an Englishman. If they're actually walking around goose stepping, you know they're actually going to at the end of the episode they're going to shoplift the hat.
Yep.
Get this. I don't mean to interrupt, but this is mind-boggling. There's curry and chips, the complete series, $120.43 plus $22.37 shipping from the UK. I guess I'm not going to be seeing it.
Right,
$140.
$140. Let's have a look at the UK.
That's like 140 pounds.
I know.
That's a lot. I mean, 100 pounds. That's a lot of money.
And someone was having, what was it? I can't remember what I've seen. Oh, I know it's Big Finish are doing a set of, hey Peter, I think they're doing a set of novelizations of Blake Seven, and that's about £100 for the set. And I think that's only for. I don't think that's for the entire 4 seasons either.
Oh, here's one for $38 US.
Right. Over here, I've looked on Amazon over here for it. Curry and Chips DVD, £49.
Well, here it is for $38 US. It's an import region 2, like new. But it's
and that's the one it's got here. Curry and Chips complete series region 2 by Spike Milligan, $49.99.
Pounds?
Yes.
So that's like 60 something, $70. Still a lot of money.
And that says it's a region 2.
That's still a lot of money.
Yeah.
Has it got a network blasted over it? Was it
the movie network?
No, it's a network distributing. They're the ones who supply these programs.
Yeah, because I'm looking. There's somebody else who's offering. It says the complete series, but it ships from the US. And then it says this DVD is from the UK. You'll need a region for your multi-region player, which I do have.
Region 3?
Region free.
No, region number 3. Region 3.
Yeah.
Region 3, FREE.
Yeah, no. That's why I thought region 3, but no, that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, for when I got my Christmas bonus, I bought myself a new television. And I also bought myself a DVD/Blu-ray player. My old one played any DVD from anywhere in the world, but it only played North American Blu-rays. This new one plays any Blu-ray from anywhere in the world and any DVD from anywhere in the world.
Well, I'm looking forward to my bonus at the end of this month. It's going to buy me a new roof and maybe fix my car.
Well, you're going to get a lot more money than I did.
No. It's going to skin me because I already spent $2,000 since Christmas.
$2,000 on a new roof?
A roof and part of my car get fixed.
That's not bad for $2,000.
No, that's just a part. That's the part that's leaking.
Oh, got it.
So, yeah, I mean, that's only the part.
Yeah. The reason why
if I could get a roof for $2,000, I would be over it.
What?
That's only one wee part next to the window.
Well, anyway, the reason why I've just read up about Curry and Chips, it's out of print. That's why it's expensive.
I'm sorry?
It's out of print on DVDs now. So
it's like a friend of mine was trying to buy Alan Rickman and Juliet Stevenson's Truly Madly Deeply.
Mm-hmm.
And it was out of print for a while, at least here in the States. And there were copies going for like $150. That's insane. Glad I own mine and I don't lend it to anybody, because if they lose it, I will have to kill them.
Yeah, it's a problem
They
with
deserve
DVDs, isn't it?
I'll just
Right. Did you watch Plebs, Soldiers of Rome?
I only saw what you sent me, which was the first.
That was the whole thing.
The first
That was
half
the
an
whole
hour.
thing.
It was 20 minutes long?
No, that was the whole thing. It was over an hour long because I checked it from downloaded it from there.
Right.
And it
But
actually
I
played
watched
the
it.
whole
It was
thing.
only 20 something minutes long. That's all
No,
I
because if I actually open this, hold on.
Because I watched what you sent me and it just died in the middle.
No, it basically
And
goes. It's a
Marcus
finish.
finds Grumio.
Right. No, it's basically that's what I'm wondering if, because I'm downloading it just now from that site, and I'm just firing it up.
Yeah, no, I watched it and all I got was to the part where
1 hour 24 minutes.
Yeah, no, I got 20 something minutes long. That's it.
So you got 20 odd minutes. So that would have been just after he massaged the commander.
Yeah, it was after that. It was when he finds Grumio for real. In the beginning, we know we find him. It finds him, and then they have the flashback, and then they build up to the part where he actually finds Grumio, and that's where it died.
Stop doing that.
Yeah. So
and I was just, whoa, wait a minute, what happened?
No, I don't know why, because the 20-minute mark is roughly when he's giving a massage to his commander and he
This was
gets
slightly after that,
disciplined.
20 something minutes.
Aye, so I don't know why, because it's an hour and 24 minutes, and I've just downloaded it from there, and it's actually playing it.
I believe you, but
what I'll do is I'll try and maybe zip it and put it in there. You might have to unzip it.
I'll have to try it again because all I got was
Because what I was doing is going to say is I could rip out copy the curry and chips and put them up there if you want to see it.
because I can't.
At least
Find,
one
I
of the
did try to
episodes.
find Plebs on the High Seas and I couldn't. The Plebs movie, I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I was surprised when I came across it. Plebs, Soldiers of Rome.
Private chat.
It is an ending. It is giving them all an ending.
Well, that's
So
good.
there's no new season coming out.
Well, I did try to see oh God, what's his name? The actor's name Rosenthal. I watched Dinner on Fridays or whatever it was called, Friday Night Dinner.
The one that plays Stylax.
Oh, Stylax. I've
Was that the
seen
one
him in other things, and he always seems to play this lovable loser character.
Yeah, he was in the show The In-Betweeners.
Okay. He was also in the movie Yesterday, playing a lovable loser. And he was also in an episode of Death in Paradise playing a lovable loser.
Yeah.
And then he was supposed to play, oh my God, this breaks my heart. He was supposed to play Frederick Wentworth in a period adaptation of Persuasion. And the thought of that makes me physically ill. Just saying.
Really weird.
Because Frederick Wentworth is a dashing Navy captain. And
All right.
yeah, he's just not.
Julie, in Twitter, I've sent you a link.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
That's a High Seas link.
Okay.
So that's a one on it's a torrent site.
Did you send me on Twitter?
Yes, I put it in Messenger.
Look, I'll take a look.
Sorry, in the message.
I will take a look. I will take a look. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to see what happens after he finds stuff. After he finds Grumio.
Yeah,
I've put a link in private chat to a site that I have used.
Oh, I see it.
And
I see it. Thank you. I'll check that out too.
Yeah.
Because I just want to find out what happened.
Yes, you've sent that link before. I've actually.
Because the place I go to for a lot of TV shows, they've got every one of the series, but they don't have the movie.
Which is the weird one.
You see that sometimes, don't you? One thing and not the other.
Right. It depends on where you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily they had what do you call it? Death in Paradise, and they've got the newest episode of Would I Lie to You, which happens to be one of my very favorite shows. And the US version is so appallingly bad that I lasted about a minute and had to turn it off. It was horrible.
Yeah. I see. I always find that there's certain things don't work because they work because of the type of humor.
Well, it's funny because you guys took one of our shows.
That's 70
We called it
show.
Match Game. Pardon?
That 70 show, they did it with that, and it was dire here.
We had a show called Match Game that you guys, I can't remember what you
Blankety blank.
That's it, blankety blank.
Oh, Terry Wogan, blankety blank.
Yeah. It originally
bloody
was
microphone.
a show called Match Game.
Yeah.
Kenny
The thing
Everett
is,
was great with Terry Wogan on that.
I checked it. That bloody microphone is exactly the same one because I'm sure we looked at this on FFSI when we were doing the crossovers. I'm sure we did because I looked at it and it's the same microphone. It's the same side of microphone.
It was a long, thin microphone that Terry would carry, and then Kenny Everett would take umbrage to it, so he would always do something to it. There was one point Terry Wogan comes up to Kenny Everett and does that with a microphone, and Kenny goes under the desk and brings out a pair of shears and goes. He would go up to him and say something, and Kenny Everett would grab it and bend it. He would always do something to the microphone, so he would, because it was a long, thin one.
And it's not just comedies either. Unfortunately, the as far as I'm aware, the record for the longest time it takes someone to get across the Atlantic is one of my favourite shows and formative shows of my childhood. 40 years later, the Americans tried to make the Tomorrow People.
Which is what? Oh, Tomorrow People, which I never saw. Never saw the American version or the British version.
The British version from the 1970s. Don't call me racist because my first actual crush was a black female school teacher. I was in my teens at the time, and yes, I fancied that particular character. But it's a good series.
Nichelle Nichols.
No, not Nichelle Nichols. Elizabeth Adare.
I remember Nichelle Nichols.
Oh, you originally, yeah. Nah. But the thing is, I was saying to someone else about it the other day in chat somewhere, and it's a good series if you can take the fact that it is very much the 70s and it can come across as a bit camp. I'm not sure it was an Australian version, Peter. There was certainly a version which seemed to star mainly ex-Australian soap opera youngsters.
I can't remember.
Whether that was Australian or not, I don't know.
And blankety blank. See his mic there? It's his long thin one.
Well, that started out life as a show here in the 60s called Match Game.
Right, watch. This is the bit he comes up. Watch. He's trying to speak to him on the mic.
Obviously,
It doesn't go through either.
Yeah.
Might have had better luck if he went for the wire itself.
We also had Celebrity Squares, which is presumably the same one because when you were making it was Hollywood Squares, yeah. What you were referring to earlier on with the placings was
with Colin. Yeah, he was well known to be the center square.
I like it when Les Dawson took over Bloody Blank and he just snapped the microphone in half. As in, I'm not using this anymore.
Besides Would I Lie to You, which did not translate well here because neither did, even though it was actually popular, I found the US version of Whose Line Is It Anyway to be unwatchable. Ghosts. There's a US version of Ghosts, which I lasted about 15 seconds and said, I can't watch this. So, yeah, not all shows translate.
I hate it when they do that. There's a movies. You look at Fawlty Towers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they've remade it twice.
Mm-hmm.
One with the Golden Girls.
B. Arthur.
Yeah. And then they also did it with the, what was his name? he played in Benson. He played no Benson. Was it Benson? There was
Soap.
Benson?
No, it wasn't the soap. It was one the character they did the second Faulty Towers with.
Okay.
I'm just trying to remember his name.
Because
And I'm trying
Faulty
to remember-
Towers, I think they even did a German version of it.
They did.
Yeah.
But the US did two versions of it. One with
Yeah,
B.
I know
Arthur and the other one with the guy, and I can't even remember. He always played the pompous politician type, but he wasn't in Benson. He wasn't the same guy who played the pompous politician in Benson.
Rene Auberginois.
No, because I know
He was in
Renee.
Benson, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, he was in Nightmare, but he didn't play the politician.
Okay.
Is that the one that plays Odo?
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't play the
Okay.
politician initially. He played the butler. Was it not the butler? To the
Benson was the
politician, and Benson was the cook, and then the two of them always had the.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head.
Aye.
I mean, I loved oh God, I'm drawing a blank. Sorry, I'm having a brain fart. What was the show with Francis Urquhart? The one that Kevin Spacey was in the US.
Oh,
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I know the one you mean. And I can picture the guy that starred in the British version. I'm going to
Right.
play his name as well.
I loved that one. I mean, my dad and I remember it was on in the early 80s, and I was living at my parents' house at the time, and my dad and I would be watching it every Sunday night religiously. And I never saw the Kevin Spacey version, ever. Not a single.
House of Cards.
Thank you, House of Cards. Yeah, I never saw a single episode of the US version. Because I
There's
just,
a lot of those I've never seen.
Good.
Just in the pill.
See, I think it's to do with you. Can you imagine the thick of it being in
God, the
set
thick
in
of it's
DC?
hilarious.
Can you imagine that set in DC?
no.
No, because it's a cultural thing. It's like watching the US minister or US prime minister.
Which
You
I
can't
also love.
imagine. You can't imagine doing that in the US, but I can't imagine doing something like the 70s show was very nostalgic about the American. Bringing that over here, it failed because all they did was they changed some of the references, but it was rubbish because we didn't have the same nostalgic.
Right.
feeling.
Seinfeld wouldn't translate either because it is so New York.
And that's the thing. So when they try and bring stuff across, unless it's something that's nothing to do with the culture, then it could go across. But
It's
if it's
funny.
something that's cultural, there's no point in trying to make it.
It's funny. Seinfeld, the very first season, which a lot of people don't like, is my personal favorite season because back then it was still very, very New York. I mean, it was a lot of in jokes about what was going on in New York.
That's the one.
John Larroquette, he was in Night
The
Court.
Magician.
Brilliant, by the way.
Yes.
Let me- I'll be right
He
back.
was in The Magicians as well.
Yeah.
Harry
John
Anderson. was-
Larroquette, he played Payne in the one. That's the one I was thinking.
Wasn't he also in The Magicians? And I think he was in The West Wing as well at one point.
He's
I
been in
thought
quite a
John
few
Larroquette-
things. He plays, and he's been in a few movies where he's always been the butt of the joke.
Oh, yeah. John
Politician is the butt of the
Larroquette
joke.
was on Broadway with Daniel Radcliffe doing a creditable American accent in How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying.
Yeah.
What's the other one? Didn't Daniel Radcliffe recently do another one where he was Al Yankovic?
I don't know, but I actually saw that one on Broadway. I'd gone back to New York for a visit. I had a college reunion in Philadelphia and figured I can't be that close to New York without going because they're only 100 miles apart. So I went up to New York and I weeks in advance bought myself tickets for the show. And one of the dance routines, it was great because John Larroquette is so tall and Daniel Radcliffe is quite short. And they incorporated the height difference into the dance routine. So it was brilliant. But unfortunately, the theater was filled with screaming tweens who were Daniel Radcliffe fangirls.
Yeah, a surprise.
Yeah, but it was a good show. It was a very good show. They did a good job with it. But I like the movie better, which is weird, but it takes place in early 60s New York, and I recognize a lot of the buildings even from when I was growing up. So I liked it.
My wife was watching something about Vegas today, and she was enjoying it because they were showing all the things that we had done when we were. I did the zip line down Fremont Street and stuff like that. So they were. It was. It was one of the girls. She used to do the cruise holidays and talk about the cruise holidays. But since her husband passed, she's not done any cruises, but she's down holidays in different places. And she's now, it's Vegas. She did it. And she was singing with Donny Osmond because she's a singer as well.
Jane McDonald? Jane McDonald?
Jane McDonald. That's the one. My wife has been watching her. She likes her.
Oh,
and she was watching it, and it was in Vegas. So she was showing us the bit with the zip line. I've done that. My wife was saying she wishes she had done it. We were going to do it, but the night before we were both going to do it. And then when we got there the next day, because it was busy, my wife went, nope, not doing it. But
even Boris Johnson's done that.
Aye, it can take my weight. It can take most people's weight. But yeah, I did the zip line down Fremont Street, which was cool.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't do the roller coaster on top of the stratosphere where it goes whoop right over the edge. And no way. I've got a fear of heights. No point me actually doing something that does the roller coaster up there, but there's also one that actually goes zoom as if it's falling off it. Then it pulls you back up. Nope. The fact that I'm up that height already, I couldn't look out a window. So being strapped into something, it goes, whoa, no.
We've got a zip line park near where I live, a couple of miles away, and you couldn't pay me to go there.
See, I don't mind the zip line. The Fremont Street one was no problem because you're not too high up. So we went to Mount Snowdon in Wales, and there was a zip line there. We were going to do it, but it was that busy. You had to book weeks in advance. But that was literally, you get taken up by Jeep up to the top of the hill, and you're strapped in, and whoosh, it's one of the fastest zip lines because of the height it's falling.
Yeah, thank you.
I was wanting to do it, but I was sitting there thinking, the idea of that distance. One of my friends did it in Dubai, and that is one of the highest ones, and he loved it. But when he was doing it, him and his wife were doing it, they passed a guy whose line had stuck, and to fix that, somebody actually had to put another strap on and to get to there, and then unfix his wheels that had stuck, and then let him continue on.
No, thank you.
That's what I was thinking. If I'm stuck up there, just cut the wire because I ain't moving. If you think I'm going to sit there while somebody fiddles about the thing it's attaching me to the wheel, nope.
No.
Yeah.
Oh God, no. I remember I used to have a job on the 40-something floor of a building in New York, and that was way too high for me looking out the window.
Yeah, I did the Empire State Building. And standing on that part. See, when I was standing in looking out the window, not an issue. See,
if I'm looking straight, I'm okay, but I can't look down.
No. I was standing at the window looking down, not an issue. Because there's a window there, there's a shelf and all that there. I walked out onto the balcony, which has got all the railings very high up.
And they got the wire around there, so you
yes. But because I could feel the wind, nope. It was no further up than the window I was looking out next to it, but because I could feel the wind, that was it. My whole stomach went, nope, I'm out of here.
It's funny because back in the mid-'80s was the only time I went to, as a tourist, to the old World Trade Center. I went with a friend, and for whatever reason, we did not go to the outdoor observation deck. I don't remember why. It's 40 years. I don't remember why.
Yeah.
And we were in the indoor observation deck, and the way they had it was because there was windows everywhere. And the way they had it was they had this railing and you could lean over and look straight down.
Yeah, watch. My
Oh
feet are tingling just
my
at the thought of that.
Scared the living daylights out of me. And then
It's like the one in New York is you can go up and there's balconies, they're
Mhm.
glass. So you can go out and step out and it's glass below you, beside you, above you.
Nice.
Nope. Did
Well,
you
it's
see
like
this
the London
little
Eye. The last time I was in London was in 2001, and I'd been there in 2000, and I went to the Millennium Dome. Only reason I went to the Millennium Dome was to watch the Blackadder episode. Way too much money just for a Blackadder episode, but it was good. But somebody said to me, "Oh, do you want to go to the London Eye?" And I said, "It's all glass. No, thank you. No way in hell were you going to get me in that thing."
I see my wife enjoys that.
Ugh.
I don't know if it's glass below me. If it's glass around me and there's parts where you can see but it's
But
attached
if I'm looking
to metal.
straight at, I'm fine. But if I have to look down, no, thank you.
No, it's I'm okay. I see when I used to work in the buildings and it was all windows up front and there was no even a ledge.
Mhm.
When I was fixing a computer, I would walk backwards and I had my back to the window. I would fix the computer and walk out and walk away. I couldn't turn around because there was glass there. If it was windows, I wouldn't have had an issue walking up because there's the window ledge and the brickwork around it. No issue, but because it was pure glass.
Well, that's it. The World Trade Center was, these iron bars and then glass everywhere.
Mhm.
It was, oh God.
But no, I conquered my fear of heights by doing an abseil from the 4th rail bridge. I did it for charity. And I basically climbed over and abseiled down. And my wife, which we weren't married, we weren't even going out. She was one of my friends and came and saw us. And her and a couple of my other friends said I screamed like a woman all the way down. What they didn't actually realise was when I got off that side, a woman got off that side. And the both of us came down. So she screamed all the way down, but they were watching me and used to hear this screaming all the way down.
Ish.
And they still they say it was me. And it wasn't. Honest. I never did that.
You weren't screaming like a little girl?
No, I wasn't screaming like big. Basically, the fact that I climbed over the railing, that's the only part it was freaking me out. But because I decided to do it, I was going to conquer my fear of heights. And I decided, once I'd done that, the drop to the ground on a rope, I didn't have an issue with. It was the climbing over the railing and standing on a wee stud that size before I went. That was the part that freaked me out. That was the part I would have been screaming at. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. But no, falling with a rope around me doesn't bother me. I'm not scared of falling. I'm just scared of the sudden stop at the bottom.
Yeah, it's not the fall that kills you, it's the sudden stop at the end.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of heights. I'm feared of the ground.
Mm.
So,
I'd never
it's not the
been
heights that kills you. It's the sudden stop.
I'd never been afraid of heights growing up. And then one day, it was 1980. And I was in France. And we were in, near Avignon, I think it was. And there was an aqueduct. And the whole gang of kids I was with, people started walking across the aqueduct. And it's about 10 feet wide, which on the ground, 10 feet wide is pretty wide.
Uh-huh.
But when you're up a couple hundred feet in the air, 10 feet wide is not that wide.
Hmm.
You feel like you're on a balance beam. And I walked out onto this 10-foot wide thing, and I looked around me, and all of a sudden, I just fell to my knees and crawled off, and I just haven't been able to deal with heights ever since.
Hmm.
It was the strangest thing.
I've never been that good at heights, but I had no problem doing a parachute jump, which was odd. The thing is, you were so high, it didn't register. Peter, yeah, I'm looking at it, Peter. Yes, there were two versions. I'm actually not sure if the first one was an American version or not. I remember the first one because looking at the cast list, apparently amongst other characters, the original Flash is in there.
Mm-hmm.
Who apparently later went on to come on Moonbase Alpha because it's got Ed Bishop and a character called Jay Garrick in the original. When you've got Barry Morse, Space 1999's Barry Morse as the Professor. The cast in this one's why this is why I've always thought it's an American one. The Deacon is Reggie Perrin's boss, John Barron. You've got Alexis Sale, Jeffrey Palmer, Peter Jones, Richard Griffiths, John Cleese. A lot of English names in this one, so I don't know, but the 1986 version is tagged a British satire on the beginning of World War III.
What are we talking about? I thought we were talking about
What's Apocalypse?
What's Apocalypse? Aye.
No, because Peter brought up. I said yes. What version?
Yeah, Whoops Apocalypse I've seen, but I don't know what version I've seen.
It depends. Was Barry Morse in it, or was John Cleese?
It's been a long time. I don't think John Cleese was in it.
Well, the English version had Graham Garden, Loretta Swit, Peter Cook,
Loretta Swit.
Yep.
Hot Lips.
Shane Rimmer was in there. Yep.
Wow.
This was the British quote from IMDb, was a British satire in the beginning of World War III. That was 1986. I think that may have been a film because it's not down as episodes.
What was the name of it?
Whoops Apocalypse.
Oh, I don't know it at all.
Oh, but the 1982 one was a 6-part TV series. I say, and most of the characters in there, or the actors in there, are. I'm actually not certain now if Barry Morse is English or American, to be quite honest, because I know he's in a lot of American things as well. But most of them are either English or Ed Bishop doesn't count as American because he spent so much time in this country. So I'm not sure if they want both English, but one sort of centered more on the Americans. I don't know. But I do remember Whoops Apocalypse because there was, I'm sure that was in Whoops Apocalypse where one of the running jokes was the 3 most frightening words in the English language were President such and such, and it was because the American vice president.
I'm here to help.
No. It was the thing was the joke was that because I think it went on to be said about Dan Quayle.
Okay.
When he was vice president, because the idea was that unless it was someone else, but the idea was the American vice president becoming president would have been the worst thing that could happen. The 3 most frightening words were president such and such. And then at the very end, the president's killed and he does become vice president, I think, but I might be thinking of something else.
I can't remember.
I'm not
So
sure.
Ronald Reagan once said the most frightening words in the English language were "I'm from the government and I'm here to help."
Yeah. Oh, that was Reagan.
Yeah.
Was it? I heard that. I didn't know that was,
Right.
that was Reagan.
I climbed it and stepped off it.
No way in hell.
Look, watch. You see. It's basically that's me climbing up. There's me there. I'll stop and wave. I was so confident. I was after I had conquered my fear of heights.
Oh my God.
I should, if I remember right, my wife shouted at me and I stopped and I waved. I was that cocky. That's the guy doing it.
Oh my God. How high up was that?
100 feet.
Oh shit.
Yeah, exactly. So that's me stopping to give a wee wave. I'm the bottom one. I'm not the guy in the top there. Like, that was me being cocky after I conquered my fear of heights. That's me there. Like,
Oh, not happening. Where is this?
Wales,
Okay.
near where Wend is.
Okay.
Look at that. You
I
just
plan
step
on
off.
Wendy someday.
Whee!
All I'm gonna say.
My wife laughed at this part because as soon as my feet touched the ground, they gave way. And I just went thump.
So not happening.
Yeah, a power plummet, 100-foot drop.
Oh my God.
And we did that as well. And that was a swing. So it's 30 feet swing, but this bit is just suddenly drops. So you're swinging above all this 60 feet. And that was me conquering my fear of heights. We decided to do that.
No, thank you.
Nah, but that was the fun part.
I am in awe that you could do that.
You were in awe. So was that. But a couple of years beforehand, I could not have done it because I had fear of heights. But because I did the charity thing, I stepped off and did the abseil.
It's not just the height; it's the fact that what happens if the machine breaks?
Yeah.
But then again,
and then you end up as a grease spot on the floor.
Right, you could say that about driving a car or going on a bus, going on a train.
You have a little more control in a car.
Yeah, but you've got no control on a train. And what happens? You're in a car and the mechanics suddenly goes.
No, still not.
So your brakes suddenly fail and you're
Still
going
not
downhill. A plane. Have you flown? Have you flown?
Yes.
Has your arms got tired? Then you've got no control over the flight.
I know, but there's less chance of being in a plane crash than there is of a lot of other things.
Yeah, but planes are fly by wire now these days. What I've heard.
I'm just waiting for them to decide to have an electric plane, and then whoops! Hey, I won't get in a helicopter.
I've been in a helicopter. Do you want to see my? Do you want to see the plane I flew?
Sure.
All right, let's see if I can find.
I'd love to go in a helicopter. Never did.
Yeah, no desire.
My dad did. He did the helicopter flight over Pearl Harbor, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find my picture of me flying. It's typical. You can never find it when you're looking for it. Oh my God! See, when I actually saw it a wee while ago, and now I can't find the thing. Days out. That's what it is. Flying. Right. This is. I'll share this screen again. Right. This is at the airport. Quite a local airport. It was a small airport, so obviously you've got the helicopters, the small helicopters and stuff like that. That was the plane I was flying.
Wow. You flew it personally?
That's me flying it. They basically they took you off and then you got to fly a wee bit and then they brought it down. But they're basically that was me above the airport.
I've always wanted to learn how to fly.
Do you know how big the seat was? See this seat here, and then a seat this size right next to arm in arm. That's how big the cockpit was.
Wow.
So basically, you were very close to the guy next to you, flying it.
I was on a plane, oh gosh, 30-something years ago. I was in New York, and I was flying to upstate New York for a wedding. And I was at the airport and I said to the ticket agent, I need to use the restroom. I'll be right back. And she said, good, because there isn't one on the plane. And it didn't register, of course. So I get back and I'm sitting there reading my book or the newspaper, whatever it was. And the woman comes over and she says, oh, we're ready to board. And I said, oh, I'm so sorry. I missed the announcement. She said, oh, there wasn't one. There's just the two of you. And it was this other woman and me, the pilot and the co-pilot. And there was a flight attendant, and all she did was give us peanuts. And we were in the air for about 45 minutes. And the separation between the pilots and us was a curtain.
When we were down in Wales, it was that holiday I was showing you. When we were flying back up, we were flying up at night. So there was a pilot, co-pilot. There was two stewardesses.
Oh.
This is a plane, so a jet plane. So it's a passenger plane. So it isn't the small one. It could seat 100 and something. There was 3 of us on it. Me, my wife, and one other person.
Wow.
And because we went up and when we went on, we said that, and she says, sit anywhere. Basically, it didn't matter what number our seat was, sit anywhere. There's only 3 she's on. So there was more crew than there was passengers.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, that was this case. There was a pilot, co-pilot, flight attendant, and 2 passengers. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's weird when you actually fly stuff like that.
Oh yeah, because the propellers make so much noise.
I was a jet.
You can barely hear what you're thinking.
Ours was a jet, so it wasn't one of the ones with
Ours
the
wasn't
twin
a jet.
propeller. Ours was a jet, so it was the smaller of the jet passenger ones.
This was like a model plane. And this thing was tiny. Yeah. I mean, it looked like about the size of a wing of a 747.
Yeah, well, I've never been in one. I don't think I've been in one that small. The smallest one I've been on was that one, which had 2 seats at one side and 2 seats at the other, and
this sat 11 people. It was
never been in something that small.
One seat on each side, and then in the back was like 3 or 4.
Like a bus.
Yeah, basically, it was in effect a commuter plane between Corning, New York, or Elmira, and LaGuardia Airport in New York.
There is a couple like that here where you can fly from Prestwick to the Isles. And the Isles are set times they're allowed to do it because there is no runway. They land on the sand.
I've been to Prestwick.
Well, Prestwick is 40 minutes down the road from me.
Yeah, okay. Well, I was there probably 50 years ago, but I was there.
Just about the time, who was it? They said there is a story that Elvis Presley touched down in Prestwick. Because accordingly, the place where you get married has the story that he touched down, stayed there for a couple of hours, back to Prestwick and away. The plane he was on probably touched down, but he never got off it.
We didn't land in Prestwick. Long story. I don't remember. I think I went to Manchester, and then my uncle. Well, he's not my uncle anymore. He's my aunt's ex-wife. He picked me up and we drove to their house in Leeds. And then some friends who lived in Aberystwyth picked me up. And then we went up to Scotland and we stayed near Blair Gowrie and drove around the whole area. And then we went back and I stayed in Aberystwyth and then they drove me back to Leeds.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
Yes. It would have been a nicer time.
It really was. It was, I mean, it's funny because the first time I was in the UK was in 69. And there's pictures of my brother and me somewhere at my mother's house of my brother and me sitting on the stones at Stonehenge. You can't do that anymore.
You can't even get anywhere near them.
No, you can't. And then when I went...
And yet you drive past and the traffic's still atrocious. It's crazy.
Yeah. When I went to Westminster Abbey in 99, the first time I was back as an adult, you can't even go into a lot of the chapels where the tombs are.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, back in 1969, the first time I was there, you could.
That's because if you touched anything, not only would your parents slap you on, the authorities would slap you on. Now, they says, right, nobody's allowed to go in because he'll keep touching it and nobody will stop him and nobody will be allowed to stop
of us
him.
sitting on the rocks. And even in the 60s, there was graffiti.
Oh, the thing is, Stonehenge is actually made up. The rocks are real, but was it 1920s? They were rebuilt. And the way they thought they should have looked.
Something like that, yeah. They were
repositioned.
So in other words, it's 20th century people who made it so that you can see the midsummer sunrise?
Yes, because the rocks were there, but they'd fallen, but they assumed this is how it was set up.
Oh, that's breaking my heart. I had no idea.
Yeah. The situation is 5,000 years old, but what you see isn't.
Yeah, but I think they're reasonably sure that is
how it was set up, based on archaeology, where they found holes, where they had fallen over from. But in effect, it is their interpretation of what they think it was like.
Oh well, that's depressing.
Well, you want to be that bad? You want to actually, Kel? Do you want to go to Avebury in Wiltshire? Avebury, Avebury, Avebury.
Right. In where?
In Wiltshire. It's not that far from Stonehenge, and it's that big. Avebury is both the name of the stones and the village built inside them.
I would love to get back to the UK. I just don't know when it's going to happen.
There was a series called Children of the Stones in the 70s. And it was actually filmed there. And you look at it's amazing because Aveby, there are literally stone, not quite a circle, literally it's that big. There is literally a village built in or partially inside it. I have actually been to both Stonehenge. I mean, I vaguely remember being a kid and going to Stonehenge when you could actually touch. I've been to Avebury as well.
When you could sit on the stones, yeah.
Yeah. I went past Stonehenge a couple of times in the last few years when I go to shows. But again, I say the traffic, despite the fact you can't stop, the traffic on that bit of road is always atrocious.
Have you read, oh God, what's the name of the book? It's, I'm drawing a blank. It's been a long day. Ken Follett. They turned it into a really bad TV series. Oh God, I'm drawing a blank.
Pillars of the Earth.
Yes, Pillars of the Earth.
I've not read them. I've seen Pillars of the Earth, and I saw
that book.
Sequel.
Loved that book. I didn't love the series, but I absolutely love the book.
I think there's 3 of them, I think, in total in the series.
Have you read Sarum?
I haven't read Sarum, no. I've read a couple. Actually, yes, I think I have read Sarum many years ago. Edward Rutherford.
Yeah, Edward Rutherford. I've got a couple of his books, including New York, which I have not read yet.
Yeah, because I remember the series had Ian McShane in it. It had
Matthew McFadden.
Yeah.
Sewell.
Ian McShane was the baddie, was it? And it had Hayley Atwell.
Oh, really? She was in it? I didn't remember that.
Yeah, she was a female lead, and I forgot the guy that plays the lead in the Fantastic Beasts film, which whose name I've forgotten.
Oh, Eddie Redmayne.
Eddie Redmayne was the I think was the lead because that one was set. The first book was set at the time of the Anarchy.
The second one was World Without End.
The second one was set during the 100 Years' War.
Okay.
If I remember right, because I've seen both. I think I've seen both of them.
That's that's basically how Stonehenge looked.
Really?
Right, and then they rebuilt it. So they did. So they rebuilt it to that. So as you can see, they had to dig holes to reset some of the stones because the way the stones were lying, they think it was set certain ways. So that's what it looks like now. But that's what it initially looked like. Things lying down, falling off. They just assumed the rest of it looked like that.
They sort of extrapolated. Yeah. I've read several. I'm sure I've read several Ken Follett books, but I've never read those ones. I think Ken Follett ones I've read. I don't think I've read any of historical ones because he also wrote sort of thriller types.
The only read books of his I've read are Pillars of the Earth and World Without End. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Cam.
I'm actually listening to right now on Audible. I'm listening to. Right, come on, open up. Forbidden Archaeology. Randall Carpenter? That's what I'm listening to right now.
Forbidden Archaeology? I need to look.
It's basically talking about how not modern archaeology keeps saying that Homo sapiens have only been around for about 100,000 years, and they came out of Africa about that time. And
there it is: Forbidden Archaeology, Hidden History of the Human Race.
Yeah, and basically they're talking about how in the 1800s people were finding things in stratosphere which were like 30 million years old. So they were finding hand tools, they were finding querns, they were finding bowls in places that were like 30 million years old. How can that be?
It's only
but the archaeology is effectively destroying their careers and basically hiding the information because they're saying it can't be true. So rather than find out how it happened, they're just saying it can't be true. If you believe that, you're a crank. And people have lost their jobs because they've been finding it. They told them where they found it and what it means, but they just say, no, because you said that, you must be a crank.
Well, it's like, you get people who are such devout Christians that they believe that the earth is only 5,000 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one time I actually got kicked off a website, a conservative website for this, because I said, so you're telling me that God is capricious because he's given us the technology to determine how old something is, and we're finding things that are millions of years old. Meanwhile, the earth is only 5,000 years old. How does that work?
I heard the result for that. Basically,
God made it old.
It's to test you. Because if you find it and believe it because you can do the tests on it, then it's to show that you're not a true believer.
Gotcha.
So God is testing you.
Got it.
My father-in-law is a minister, and even they say it's the God created the earth, but evolution is a thing. He basically
I'm totally with that. I mean, I'm an Anglican, and even the Catholics have said, besides forgiving
Galileo,
they'll say the same thing. The earth is more than 5,000 years old, but maybe only at But
the thing is, I have an issue with science to an extent. Is the same scientists or the same people who back scientists that turn around and say, but human fossils that are older than this time frame must be fake, are the same ones who'll back a scientist who'll talk about a multiverse or things that they cannot test for. And you're saying, wait a minute, you're saying that this cannot be true, even though you can test for it, but you cannot test these things like the multiverse theory, yet you're meant to believe that is a true theory. So if you have to create extra dimensions and extra things to make your calculation work, then your calculation doesn't work because you have to make things up. And just because you say it means that it has to be true because my calculation works with these doesn't make it true. It just means that you've had to create. It's like if you create a dimension just so you can actually have a calculation work, then your calculation's wrong. You can't actually add in flibbles to make your calculation work just because, so it can prove your theory. And that's the thing. It's the same people who'll back scientists who'll say, no, all that evidence is false because we say so it can't be, are the same people who'll say, but just because you can't test for it doesn't mean it's not true. You can't have both.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's the thing.
You've got to apply the same standards to every.
It's the same as like the same scientists that will turn around and say humans came out of Africa over whatever it's 70, 100,000, 150,000 years ago, right? Are the same people who are turning around and saying, well, we're proving the Earth is 1.4 billion years old. How did you prove it? Tell me how you proved that specific time frame. Because you weren't, or the Earth was created this way over 1.4 billion years ago. Sorry, how do you know? That's a theory based on what you've learned. But you cannot tell me that is how it was built.
Well, that's why during all this COVID thing, when people were saying, trust the science, well, the whole point of science is to question.
Exactly. I remember, I can't remember, I'm not sure.
Dr. Fauci said, I am the science.
Yeah.
And I said, that is bullshit.
Yeah,
but
and he got memed.
I am the ruler of the universe. So if he's science, I'm the ruler of the universe.
And he got
apply.
And he got memed by Judge Dredd fans everywhere. I am The science, Judge Fauci. I can't remember who it was, but it might have been either Sagan or deGrasse Tyson, who said that the most exciting place to be in science is on the edge. The three most interesting and exciting words in science. We don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I
But
mean,
nowadays, even deGrasse Tyson is actually turning around and saying, however, you need to believe the science. Sorry,
Yeah,
you
he is
don't
unfortunately
know is
yeah.
where a scientist wants to be. He wants to actually break the unknown and find other unknowns.
Yeah.
I'm not a young earth creationist. I mean, I am a believer in God, and I used to go to church regularly. I don't now for a variety of reasons. But I absolutely do believe in God. And one thing, when people, all all science down the line people say to me, well, how can you believe in God? You got to believe in science. And I'm like, well, if the universe is 4 point whatever billion years old, what was there before it?
Yeah, and it's also like things that like they'll turn around and say nothing can travel faster than the speed of light. However, the universe is expanding faster than the speed of light. Well, you just says nothing can. So how can nothing can and expanding faster be in the same science? Because one is either wrong, and you cannot say
because the actual thing that you're measuring is what is expanding. I think I'm not sure they say it's expanding faster than the speed of light. I know theory currently says that the universe is wider than we can see. I think it's been a while. I must admit, it's been a while since I've been up to date with these.
Yeah, but that's another thing as well. They're saying that even with the most powerful telescopes, right? They are saying that the furthest we can look back is how many light years. Even if it's thousands of light years, they can just see something that happened 1,000 years ago, the star dying, right? So based on how our visuals, even with the strongest telescope, they can only see so far back in time, right? So how do they know the shape of our galaxy?
Oh, yeah.
And basically, they're not saying we're here and everything, we can see everything. What they're saying is we're in this atom. Then how do you know? You can only because we've not been around long enough to view. We could view how things are changing. So the understanding that we were just going around the sun, now the sun's moving and we are spiraling around it and stuff like that. You can understand that based on the observations, right? But when they turn around and say this is what our galaxy looks like, and then there's all these galaxies around us, how do you know? You can postulate it, but you can't.
I mean, that's the thing is that which is why. Hey Matthew, happy New Year, mate.
Happy New Year, Matthew.
Which is why you no longer have laws in science. You have like laws of gravity, for example. We don't. The theory of relativity is that a theory. The theory of gravity, because what used to be called a law, what we used to call a law, is now a theory. Because I think the idea being that science acknowledges that, we don't know. This is the best understanding we have until something else comes along. Perfect example being,
and the problem is because it's a scientific theory, people hear theory and say, "Aye, but it's only a theory."
Yeah,
the theory is a testable theory,
exactly,
based on what we understand. So I understand that when somebody will say, we theorize that this is happening, this is what we look that our galaxy looks like. Yes, you're theorizing it based on the things you can observe.
Yeah,
but the problem is you're displaying it as fact, and that's the point I dislike.
The thing is, Yeah, I agree. I mean, the thing is, actually it's another problem with language because what most people mean, when most people mean when they say a theory, scientifically is a hypothesis. You come up with a hypothesis, you test it, you challenge it, and once it explains everything that you can observe and that you can measure, and nothing, absolutely nothing, goes against that, that becomes a theory which is your best current understanding.
And that's the thing.
As you said, you know, so
Well, basically, that's what I'm saying. So it's when they actually declare something as fact, saying that this is how it is. We're in the spiral arm of this galaxy, and this is what. Sorry, how do you know? You're not looking at it from above. You're in this cluster, telling me how the rest of the cluster looks from your point of view.
I think it's because it's a combination of observation of nearby galaxies and
but you think about how far those galaxies are and how they're perceiving them. So even at that distance, there's no way on earth they can actually tell you what those galaxies actually look like. They can, because no matter how powerful your telescope is, you're not getting a good, clear understanding.
Well, the thing is,
you can just theorize what it looks like based on your scientific understanding.
Well, yeah, well, exactly what they're saying is that is what they say. When they say this, they say this is what we think. It works. It explains this particular situation. Yeah, you're right, Matt. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, get 3 scientists in the room when you get 5 different opinions. But I think the idea is that this explains it. This is what we believe. This explains.
Yes, I don't understand. I don't have issues with that. See if they turn around saying, based on our current understanding, this is what we believe. But they don't. They say, based on our current understanding, this is what it looks like. No, you're effectively saying, based on what you currently believe, this is what you believe it looks like.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
They actually state this is what it looks like based on what we believe. So they're basically saying. It's a tricky wording, but in effect, they're turning around and saying, because of what we believe, this is what it looks like. It's not this is what we believe it looks like. So based on what we can test, this is what we think it looks like. But they're not. They're effectively telling you facts, and it's not facts, and that's the point I have issues with.
I agree.
I wouldn't class I'm a skeptic in a lot of things. Science is science. However, when it's things like when they're talking about things that happened 4 million years ago, you can only base that on your current understanding. However, it could have been 7 million years ago, it could have been 9 million years ago, it could have been 2 million years. You can only give it an estimation based on what you currently understand. It's when they give facts as if, all right, 4.5 million years ago, this happened. How do you know it was 4.5 million years ago?
The thing is, you have. I think, yeah, you're right. It's a wording thing because you pretty much you could say that about anything, but you pretty much have to work as if you pretty much have to work to accept these things as workables. Otherwise, you never do anything. It's like there's I can't remember what, for some reason someone put up recently the clip from the end of Hogfather, where well, I mean, I'm sure we all remember Hogfather, where Susan turns around and says, "What would have says to Death? What would have happened if I hadn't saved Hogfather?" And he says, "The sun would not have risen tomorrow. The sun would not have risen." And he then says, "A burning ball of gas would have lit up the sky." And she says, "You mean it's the myths?" He basically says we need the little lies so we can believe the big lies. Yeah. You need to believe the little bits so you can actually understand the big thing, so it doesn't completely overwhelm you. But yeah, exactly. I mean, these days people are getting more and more. I think cynical is the right word.
It is, but I think it's a case of
the right word.
200 years ago, they were, as I was saying, they were talking about, they were finding things, and people weren't, when somebody found something that was out of time archaeology, they were basically saying, well, wait a minute, we'll need to get geologists in because we found it here. How the hell could this be here if that's millions of years old? And the established fact is 100,000 years rather than millions. So they bring, I was going to say archaeologists, geologists in, they test it and say, no, this all looks as if it's in place. There's been no disturbance, then backfill, as in disturbance, as in somebody maybe dug it up, but the earth with the layers just backed it in because of weather and stuff. They're not saying people deliberately backfilled it in. They're saying it could have been backfilled in thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
What they're saying is, so based on all the evidence, that is true, but they're saying that's out of time, so it breaks down all the theories, so we need to hide that away and just poo-poo the science. But they still went and did the tests to check first before they says, well, it means that all our books that we've ever written are all wrong. So we can't actually have that theory out there.
What I was going to say is I can't remember what the description is, but it's the thing about when observed fact differs.
Yeah, Peter, the other version of porridge is meant to be Fletcher's son.
Oh, I didn't know there was another version.
Yes, it is rubbish.
I know there was a sequel where he left us and was
that was basically going straight. Going straight. I am straight as narrow. Yeah, because Fulton Mackay's in the first episode of it.
Yeah, but no. But what I'm saying is that you do that. Whereas these days, it's a case of reality doesn't affect our theories. We change reality.
Yep.
That's what you're saying. That's the thing you say you're talking about. Is people saying, not saying, okay, well, okay, so okay, this doesn't affect this doesn't fit with what we think. Okay, first point of view, can we find any explanation for it? I can thoroughly understand it. We say, okay, so we've done this. You say we've got a theory that explains everything we know about this so far, fits everything. This doesn't fit it, right? Have we done something wrong? Have we got something wrong about this? Okay, we check into that. We double check. We make sure of that. Okay, is there something else? Could something else have done this? Fine, I got no problem with that. As long as at the end of the day, you say, no. You say, no, we don't. Okay, so we have an anomaly here. So we have an anomaly that doesn't fit our theory. This needs to be appended to the theory at the very least, and then anything else happens. Well, okay, so we need to change the theory then. That's fine. I've got no problem with saying, okay, stick to the theory as long as we can, because it's probably quite more likely that that the side of the people investigating have done something or have misread something than that the theory is wrong, which is perfect, fine. But as long as once you get to that point and the facts say, no, okay, no, we can't find anything wrong with this. We can't, just doesn't. Then you go for it's an anomaly at least.
Yeah, I understand what the theory is and all that, but it's the fact is I just despair when the science basically tells you something as a fact.
Yeah.
When they're talking about millions or billions of years ago, or they're talking about something that's 100 light years from here, they can base their theory on what their understanding is, and even if they cannot disprove the theory based on other tests, and they can still say it is fact. What they can say is that what our understanding is, we believe it is fact, and that's the part I get issues with. Is I don't like the fact is when they're talking about so far in the distance or so far in the past that they declare things as fact. That's the point.
Yeah,
I despair when they do that. Almost as bad as I despair when scientists talk about string theory when they cannot prove it or disprove it. So it's just a theory, but it's a scientific theory. I understand the difference between a theory and a scientific theory. However, when you have to say, well, we don't know what the part's in, so we're calling that the nothing or whatever, or black or dark matter, whatever. That's the points when they don't understand things that they say. So string theory, but quantum theory, they can base it on what they understand at the moment. But when they start declaring it as fact, that's the points I have issues with.
I agree. Yeah, I got
So
exactly.
anyway, Porridge, both versions. You had this version and Going Straight following it, but you also had the 2017 version, which I didn't like. Nigel Fletcher is a sharp-witted character with no respect for authority, just like his grandfather Norman. Now, nearly 40 years after Norman served time, Nigel is following his grandfather's footsteps. So that's the point. I did not
I haven't
like.
watched it, so I just know it exists because I get
It's mediocre at best. They tried to actually be so no, it's mediocre. So he's meant to be is it Arlene's daughter son? Remember Fletch's son had a daughter, Arlene.
Well, if his son, it would have been his son's son, wouldn't it? If it's his grandson.
No, because your daughter could have a son, and it's your grandson.
So yeah, your daughter or his daughter's or his son's son.
No, but I don't think I think it's meant to be his daughter. I'm just trying to remember whose daughter was.
No, that's funny because it was because didn't Gobper get out about the same time, and wasn't Gobper going out, or was he at some point going out with Fletcher's daughter or not?
Ingrid, his daughter Ingrid.
Mm.
So as far as I understand, let's see, Porridge, is Ingrid meant to be the mother? Because they don't normally have his mother in the initial one somewhere. I'm just looking to see if they've got an Ingrid. Nope. So no family mentioned in it, which is not surprising, really.
Mm.
Nothing marked as his father, his mother, whatever. Karen, Sharon, Blue. No, I can't see anybody that's meant to be his parent. So I don't know who it's meant to be, but Ingrid was the daughter. I'm sure he didn't. I think if he mentioned his son was the lazy good for nothing.
Yeah, was that the son-in-law? I honestly can't remember.
He had a son who was always lazy, but the daughter was the only one you ever saw in it. I think he mentioned a son.
I honestly can't remember because I don't think I've seen it since it first came out. I did watch it when it came out.
I've got it on my shelf somewhere. Up there next to my dad's army and stuff. Yeah, I like Porridge. I even got the movie, Porridge movie.
I've never actually seen Dad's Army. I've heard of it.
Oh, Dad's
I've
Army
probably
is super.
seen bits and pieces. Maybe they were repeated in the summers when I was in Aberystwyth in '69 and '74. But I've never actually seen the full series. I don't even know if it's available here in the States.
Yeah. Well, Dad's Army is just superb. It started. It was Black and White the first season. Yeah.
I've heard that, but I've just never seen it.
Black and White the first season. No. However, it basically, what Dad's Army is.
They say BritBox has it here in the States. I haven't noticed that.
Yep. Dad's Army is effectively the home guard during the Second World War.
Oh, I know what it is. Yeah.
Aye.
I just never saw it. And apparently, according to JustWatch.com, BritBox has it here. I just never noticed it.
I just noticed too. I think it is that plays the son.
Whom?
I think I found it. Who plays Norman Fletcher's son? And he's a white plonker.
According to this, there was a movie.
I didn't realise but
with Bill Nye.
Yeah.
The science guy.
No. NIG.
I know. That was the movie. That was the remake. The movie.
And Toby, what's his name? The guy who played the Dream Lord.
He basically was in the Detectorists.
Toby Young?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. But see, that's the remake of the movie. And the only cast member from Dad's Army that's in it is Ian Lavender, who played Pike in the original series, who plays one of the colonel in this movie. But I've got the original movie, I've got the remake movie, and I've got the original TV show. I think season 2, they've lost some episodes, so I think there's only 2 episodes from season 2, but the rest of them are all there. The later stuff is, to me, is a lot funnier. The last 2 seasons, they lost 2 of the characters, passed
Cheers,
away.
Cam. Have a good meal.
Check
Thank you, mate.
Yep. And see the guy who played old Godfrey? He actually wrote Ghost Train, which Arthur Askey did the movie of, but the guy that played Godfrey actually originally wrote the screenplay for Ghost Train, which Arthur Askey did one later on as a comedy, but it's based on the same story.
Wasn't he one of the actors who'd actually been in the
The one that played Godfrey was actually, he was an actor, and then during the war he actually got damage. He had a lot of damage, so he reckoned he wouldn't be able to work because of his disability.
Really?
So he went back to acting, and then he didn't think he would be able to do that, so he started writing.
Oh, right.
So
Yeah, Arnold Ridley. He was the medic, wasn't he?
aye, old Godfrey, the old boy.
Mm.
He was the medic.
And caught for they don't like it up, they don't
That's
like it up,
old
Miss
Jonesy.
Manning. They
Don't
don't
like
like it up, Jonesy.
I've got old Jonesy there.
Yeah, they don't like it up. They
Have
don't
you
like
ever?
it up.
Right, hold on. I'm going to dig this out, especially for Kelly. Right. So, I've got my wee baubles and my wee bobbleheads.
Yeah, remember you showed us the other week. You had some.
Whoop. And
Whoops.
there's the big bobbleheads. That's Bill Pertwee.
Okay.
That's the thing, right?
In relation to John?
No, he's.
I
think he's a cousin, if that. But
I thought they were brothers. I think they are related.
No, I think it's a cousin because I've heard rumours that he wasn't, but
Because I know John's brother is the reason John was in A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum.
so basically that's my old Jonesy
Love it.
from Dad's Army. I have to
Kelly,
hide him because the dog's go nuts.
Kelly, to answer your question, John Pertwee and Bill Pertwee are related, but they're distant cousins.
Okay.
Cousins, I knew it's basically I'd heard people saying, "Oh no, they're brothers," and I knew they weren't. And there's times when it depends who during they were interviewed said, "No, we're not related as such." Basically meaning they were cousins, but not direct family. They were
Sadly passed away in 2013.
Yeah.
It's like John, Louis Capaldi and Peter Capaldi are related.
Yep.
Distant.
Well, Sean Pertwee is definitely related to Bill.
Well, yeah,
Bill
he's
because
not.
it's his dad.
Yeah.
Well, that's his dad.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I still
I-
love the beginning
The
of
Ghost Train with Arthur Askey. I love that movie. I've got it. And I've even done a wee review of it because I just love that movie. So I did.
Yeah. I'm going to make a move in a minute, guys.
What we're going to do is actually, it's
yeah.
12 o'clock. We're going to finish off there. That's a 4-hour stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been on a long time.
Yeah. Anybody got anything coming up?
Not particularly, not till the end of the month. So we're all right.
I'm just going to be in chat tomorrow at Mr. Hyde's and Wendology's B-movie.
Same here. I'm going to be actually doing that. I've got Wednesday is Tank Girl. Anybody can get a chance to see Tank Girl?
Time Girl? Don't know it.
Tank, as in tank.
Oh, Tank.
As in driver tank.
Sorry, don't know that one.
And Friday, we'll find out if Rubble survives or not.
Yeah, and then Friday we are playing Castles and Crusades to see if I actually get handed into the Justice or eaten. Yes. So we will see that. So join us on Wednesday for Tank Girl and join us on Friday for Castles and Crusades in Tabletop Junkies channel. So until then, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. And remember, we're not old, we're classic. Bye.
Night.
Bye.